It's a half past a quarter to gin and tonic, and welcome to Who's Views with JT and the Whotastic panel. And look, this one is about me. It's bloody brilliant.
Here we are again,
Yay!
and everybody, yeah, Who's Views, and it's Merchandise Paradise live. Oh, yes, it is, with some great news today, isn't it, guys? Because today, of course, BBC Studios, in their infinite wisdom, how clever they are, have announced that the one you've all been waiting for is about to arrive on Blu-ray. We are, of course, talking about season 13. Here we go, everybody. As you can see, I am joined by George, but we are ample. Welcome, guys. Are we excited?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting, though, I have to say.
I have to say, JT, I'm incredibly impressed you got Tom to do the intro at such short notice.
Yeah.
No. Well, like
He'll do anything for a shilling, will Tom. For sure.
Yeah, I think that was John Pertwee, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
It was a case of beer from Amazon. Oh no, but this is exciting, everybody. Great to see you all. Thank you very much for coming to see us here on Merchandise Paradise tonight for this great news today. If you are just waking up around the world out there somewhere which isn't UK, well, firstly, my commiserations, but secondly, yes, you might not have heard the news that yes, season 13 is on the way. We're going to be celebrating that fact. More good news for us, because God knows we needed it, to do with Doctor Who. And here we are. The panel and I are going to take you back now to 1975, when this was on practically every television set in the UK. This was, of course, the iconic opening to Tom's time through 6 of his 7 years of Doctor Who. And just seeing it brings back shivers for me, guys, for this. And it's just a joy, isn't it? Season 13, one of my absolute favorites, I have to be honest.
Yeah, it's a cracker. It really is. Yeah.
It's a cracker.
Well, this
I was
is
really
when...
expecting this to be later on in the run in the collection, though, to be honest. I thought they would save this till later on. We've had season 7 just recently. 2 crackers in a row. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. But, I mean, this was back when Doctor Who was watched at its peak by 1 in 3 of the UK population. Not 1 in 3 people watching TV at that time, but 1 in 3 of the whole population of the UK watched Doctor Who.
Yeah. As opposed to just 3, you mean? Yeah.
And I was exactly the right age for this season of Doctor Who, and boy, was it popular.
What age were you, as a matter of interest?
When this went out, I just hit double figures.
You see, now I would say I was the right age at 5 going to 6 years old, because this scared the life out of me, this series, because it's full of classics. We're going to be coming to them anyway. But I think that's why it's all in the memory, George. I remember and feel so much about this series, and I'm quite protective about this season. And that's where my love for Sarah really takes off as well, of course.
I think it's because, I was the age where I was aware that just about every shop I walked into, there was something to do with Doctor Who. Lots of people were talking about it. Everybody at school loved it, the whole thing. In fact, I can remember at school, even teachers joining in the conversation about Saturday night's Doctor Who. It was that popular.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. There's lots of people joining us in the chat already. We'll say hello to them very quickly, guys, as well. So thank you, Canuck Chuck. Obviously, Canuck is very excited with season 13. Yes. Stephen Braddock's with us saying, hi all, at last, what fantastic Doctor Who news. It is, isn't it? Really good. We've been waiting for this for a little bit of time, but well, there we go. Dom goes with us saying, evening, friends. I know Dom Go was very happy about this as well, because on my community tab earlier, the post, I put on the picture saying just announced, and he was one of the ones that came back when, flying flags and everything he was, weren't you, Tom Go? Yes, you were. Matt's with us. Hello all, says Matt. Domgo is asking, does anyone know what's background to the new artwork? Is that Planet of Evil? Well, yes, we do, and we'll be coming to that later in the show.
Perhaps you can tell me, I can work out.
Yeah, there we go. Forbidden Man's with us. Hello, Forbidden Man. Craig Dunlop's with us. Hello to you. Frankie Stanage is with us. Oh, Barry Hardy. Hello, Barry. Nice to see you. Frankie's actually saying season 13. It is indeed season 13. Forbidden Man is saying to us, oh, there you go for a great entrance, JT. Yeah, it was pretty cool, that one, wasn't it? Pretty cool. Woodhouse is with us as well. Legion of James saying to us, finally, Series 13 gets its release. Now just only a million years until the standard release. It's a start.
That's 2031, JT, I think it's coming out.
Oh, I know. For those of you who are like Legion of James myself waiting for the standard release, there is an announcement coming of that at some point from here on in. I think it's Series 20. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Legion of James, you and I are going to be waiting for another 4 years for this by the rate they're going. Heaven's sake. Marie UK's with us, guys, saying this will be a great show. They always are. Nice. Oh, 5 hour outright classics and Android Invasion, says Bill.
Oh, hush.
I watched that this afternoon to celebrate this. I've loved it. Thank you. Evening Gold says Hartnell's Ghost. Evening says Sam. And yes, at last says Mark McIntosh. Absolutely, Mark. Lex, thank you for your super chat. Look pretty sunny. Hi, guys. My nephew had to go walk in centre in Lake District. Wasn't well with a sore throat. Going for something to eat. We'll catch up later, won't she?
Oh.
I'm really interested, Lex, but thank you for your super chat. That makes up for it.
Hope your nephew's all right.
Yeah.
We've got oh, look at this. Graham's with us saying season 13, my favorite season and all. And what's this from Darren? Some proper Doctor Who to look forward to. That's the thing, isn't it? It's just really good. Problem being showing off saying I called it. So did Bedweir, actually, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, I'd worked out that, well, we've got 2 Tom box sets left. They're bound to do a Tom next.
Yeah.
I said to JT just before we came on there, I had the same feeling because there were 2 Toms to go, but I thought it was more likely to be 16 than 13.
I was the same. I thought we'd get 13 towards the end of the run.
Well, I personally thought it was going to be 21, but that was just me because they want to keep the Toms and Perts for late, don't they?
Well, 21 must be the next one.
Yeah.
Let's think about it, to separate Tom and John, as many other people have tried to do over the years.
Including both the gentlemen in question.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yeah. Well, extras look great, says Stephen O'Rees, and contents are fantastic. The cover is hideous. Oh, we'll be talking about the cover because... I'm
not convinced either, but that's just me. Yeah.
Virtual Baz, we're going to be talking about what you've just been talking about in the chat as well. Don't you worry. And Sam's saying this is my favorite season. Again, we're going to be looking at some really good positive stuff about this coming up. Woodhouse 122, this season 13 set is going to fly off the shelves. I'm glad I got my order in. Yeah, I mean, have you guys ordered this already?
Of course, yes. As soon as I discovered it was pre-order right in there. Yeah.
Well, look at this one then from Frankie. I wasn't even born in 75. Yeah, well, thank you.
Oh, shush. You'll get Bedweir started in a minute. Okay.
Absolutely will. Oh, there's lots of you there. Thank you very much. Probably saying I was born in 75. Oh, you youngster, you. And Stephen wants us to say, and he's changed his little icon there to a Zygon very appropriately. There isn't a bad story in this season. It's all classics. Well, it is, isn't it? It is. So thank you for joining us. Lots of you in there. So let's get on with this because we are here to celebrate, of course, the release of Series 13, the limited edition version of the collection box sets. And as you all know, yes, there are some brilliant stuff in here. It's hard to believe, actually, guys. This is Tom's second series.
Yeah.
You can watch any of those episodes and not realize it's only Series 2 for him.
Yeah.
No, in reality, Zygons is really a season 12 story, which was held over.
Yeah.
That was going to be a 6-part on season 12 as well, wasn't it? I believe,
Originally, and then Philip Hinchcliffe cut it down to 4, and he was going to do another 2-parter to do the 26 episodes. The BBC then wanted to bring Doctor Who forward for the next year, so it all changed and ended at Revenge of the Cybermen. But Ian Marter was contracted for 26 episodes, but only done 24, which is why he came back for 2 episodes, The Android Invasion.
Yeah. I love all these little stories. I mean, it's nice when we talk about these sort of geeky things, isn't it, really? But, you know, I'm so glad they started with Terror of the Zygons because, as I say, my memory of this season starts with the Zygon and the, when it's going for Sarah. And I'm only
on the phone. Yeah, that's a cracking cliffhanger, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, let's have a look then because this is, as I say, Tom's second season. This is season 13. It's on the way. You can pre-order it now. As the other, there is no release date. But, of course, we've got the stories. We've got Terror of the Zygons, Planet of Evil, Pyramids of Mars, Android Invasion, The Brain of Morbius. Here we go again. And The Seeds of Doom.
JT, what is wonderful about this picture is there's not a recurring character enemy there at all. They're all original, which is superb and all iconic as well, aren't they? So.
Well, that's the brilliance of this series. I mean, look at that, Who viewers. As Paul's saying, they're all iconic. This was a massive series for Doctor Who as well. Huge success for BBC One. This haunted us for years at the Blackpool and Longleat exhibitions.
Actually, I might have to correct myself there because that is technically an Axon coming back, isn't it? To be fair, but
we'll gloss over that bit. We'll gloss over.
It's not looking very well though. It's a bit green.
But as an indicator of how popular they were in the day, you know, how many of those had their own Weetabix cards, had their own jigsaws, all that sort of thing.
Typhoon cards in the tea bags.
Yes.
I mean, this was it, wasn't it? This was massive. This series, you know, and you know, your age group, you lot were there. Bedouin wasn't yet, but that's fine. I was, you know, 5 years old into 6 years old. This was the golden age for a lot of us, really, of Doctor Who.
And that year, Tom, Liz, and Ian turned on Blackpool lights and brought Blackpool to an absolute standstill.
They did. It's just such a special series for most of us, isn't it, guys? Whether you were there or not. And I'd just like to say to all the boys and girls who might be watching the show as well, all the boys and girls that have sort of weirdly gained some sort of interest over the last several years in the modern version. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Who's Views, our Merchandise Paradise Live. This is Doctor Who, and this is how you do it. Oh yes,
and this is Tom's second season, like you said, and he was the Doctor for the moment he came. He woke up as the fourth Doctor. Honestly, he's amazing. This is Doctor Who, definitely. He is the Doctor, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Let's get into this then, everybody, because we've got a lot to talk about. Wow. I'm going to read you the press release and then we'll go from there. Okay, everybody? So bear with me. It says here, bring home Tom Baker's second season of adventures as the Doctor, plus hours of special features. Doctor Who fans can continue to build their own home archive on Blu-ray with an 8-disc box set of the iconic 13th season, starring Tom Baker as the fourth Doctor. In his second season, Tom Baker's Doctor really hits his stride with faithful companion Sarah Jane Smith, played, of course, by Liz Sladen. Together, they cross time and space to do battle with the Zygons, the biomechanoid Loch Ness monster. Who could forget that one? The fearsome Sutekh and his robot mummies, vengeful renegade Time Lord Morbius, and an antimatter creature on this distant planet, and then the scheming Kralls and the terrifying Krynoids. All episodes have been newly remastered from the best available sources. These classic adventures have never looked or sounded so good on home media. Season 13 is also jam-packed with hours of bedwheel, isn't it? Jam-packed with hours.
It's never maybe so sexy as a bedwheel, let's be honest.
Oh, I've done that. I'll do that. Season 13 is also jam-packed with hours of new and exclusive material, including, get this, new documentaries, Worlds Within, a profile of actor Ian Marter, God bless him.
I'm looking forward to that so much. Wow, wonderful tribute that's going to be, I'm hoping.
We've got Return to 13. Philip Hinchcliffe returns to the locations of several season 13 stories and is reunited with old friends. In Conversation, director Graham Harper chats to Matthew Sweet about his life, career, and Doctor Who. Tom Talks, Tom Baker on season 13 and more. Behind the Sofa. Behind the Sofa with Colin Baker, Maureen O'Brien, Katie Manning, Sarah Sutton, Janet Fielding, Sophie Aldred, Sadie Miller, and comedian Toby Hadokokoki. There are brand new audio commentaries, Who viewers, from Tom Baker on episodes from Terror of the Zygons, Pyramids of Mars, and the Android Invasion. There are updated special effects on Terror of the Zygons.
Thanks to Neil Cole. Yes.
Would that be a new Scarrison by any chance?
Yeah.
Well, same Scarrison, original Scarrison, just been spruced up a bit.
Oh, right, okay.
Spruced up a bit. You've also got omnibus editions, HD recreations of the Pyramids of Mars and the Brain of Morbius, repeat screenings, plus a brand new edit of the Seeds of Doom. You've also got exclusive archive treats, including never before released footage from Math Show, Disney Time, Paul, and
Is
more.
that the whole show? The whole show?
I would think so, because it's only about 4 minutes. It might not, because of the Disney copyright. So it'll just.
I wonder because of Disney and the relationship with
all of the
BBC. I wonder if there may have been a way around that. No, that's why they're sneaking it out. You know,
I think it might be all of the links, but I doubt it'll be the clips from the Disney, because the rights clearance and the payments would be prohibitive.
Yeah, cost would be far too much. Yeah.
So they've already had those segments on before, though. They had them on the Zygons DVD. The best
not all of them.
Topping, tailing. Yeah, but the links have connections to the movies so they connect to things like to Return to Witch Mountain or something like that. So they can't. They'll be very, very trimmed if they are, which is such a shame. So I'm really hoping the entire show. But
I mean, I've seen it done on non-Doctor Who DVDs where they haven't got the clearance for film clips, where they just cut to black with a title card on the screen, which saying, a clip from now played, and then it goes back to the next link. So they might do that.
It's good though, isn't it? Because it shows younger people like Bedouin what television we had as well, which was much better than some of the crap they're actually putting.
You can get a full program on the YouTube, of course. Obviously,
of course you can. You've also got interviews here, and under interviews on the press release, it says unreleased footage of Lis Sladen and Michael Sheard. Interesting. I wonder where that's from. You've got 5.1 surround sound, which is a new surround mix on the Pyramids of Mars, HD photo galleries, info text, PDF archive, plus lots more. This box set also includes hours of special features previously released on DVD, including documentaries, featurettes, audio commentaries, and more. Now that's really good value for money. And speaking from myself here, outraged though, guys, outraged about 2 particular features. So I don't want to bring it down, but let's look at that as well. Because why the hell have they bothered with this nonsense of the Doctor Who escape room? The 4th Doctor team attempt their escape. Interesting. How? One's
who are the team? Who's left to come on it?
Yeah. Why bother? And then of course we've got this other pile of crap, which is the Tales of the TARDIS 2024 edit of Pyramids Mars, with updated effects and the appearance from the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday. Now listen, BBC Studios, and I understand that you might be wanting to compile everything to do with that, but this is not your audience. This is not where to put that nonsense, because we don't want it. Can you just take it off? We don't want anything to do with RTD's crap. Thank you very much.
They already put it on the Ncuti Gatwa box set from last year as well, apparently. So it's already been released already. Why they're doing it again, don't know. Yeah.
I'm going to guess the escape room team will be Sadie Miller, Louise Jameson, John Leeson, possibly Philip Hinchcliffe.
Isn't there a gentleman that does the voice for Ian's character as well, for Harry on the CDs?
Yeah, I can't think of his name
off the top of my head. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Naylor, something Naylor.
Okay, but I was going to say I watched, but that's not right. I enjoyed the 3rd Doctor escape room on the season 7 box set.
Yeah, it's really painful. Painful. It's painful, really. Yeah.
Well, we knew that was going to happen, though, didn't we?
I had to watch it in segments, John, so I couldn't watch it right through. It's like 10-minute sections.
Right.
Was the 1st Doctor's escape room with Paul Maureen O'Brien and Peter Purvis?
Oh, Peter was hilarious. He was so grouchy on that. I didn't blame him, to be honest.
I couldn't get through it.
I would be as well.
Yeah.
I'd be absolutely. What you put me in here for? I'll take the money. Get me out.
Well, when I watched the 3rd Doctor one, I just looked at it and thought, Katie, I love your bones. I hope you got a big fat check for this. I really do.
Dr. Rick Douglas, MD, has said to us, I've been really impressed with upgrade quality and improved effects on these Blu-rays. And Duncan, the Funky Evans, says CGI is practiced for a certain season 11 story. Hey,
fingers crossed.
You never know. Andrew Scott's with us as well. What the actor? Woo. My favorite Doctor, says Andrew, my favorite Doctor Who era. Nothing short of perfection. Nothing else left to say. Well, I hope so, because we've got a whole show to fill. And Geriatric is saying, I've been waiting for this season. I'm so excited. So am I, Geriatric, as well. And I saw this, my nipples went like football studs, because look at this. Here it is here. Look at that, everyone. These are the discs they're talking about. Aren't they absolutely fabulous? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And yet again presented well. You're going to love it if you've got all this. 8 discs, everybody. There they are. Count them. And again, the booklet looks great from that illustration with the crinoid in the background there. And the Seeds of Doom and the Pyramids of Mars TARDIS there. Lovely.
On the cover of the booklet, they seem to have put Liz at a bit of a comedy angle there.
Yeah.
Just a bit. Just a bit. They played around with it a little bit, but this again was the artwork from Lee Binding, everybody, as I'm sure you know. So let's start talking about this. Before we start that, I just want to say, well, a huge thank you to these two. the men behind this season, Philip Hinchcliffe, and of course the mighty Robert Holmes. What an impression they had on all of us back then with this season. This was huge. And as I say, at the time, 5 and then 6 years old while the series was running, lasting memories to this very day. When I look at any of them that I've got now on the DVD, all these wonderful friends, family, coziness, it's all there in these episodes for me.
This is the gothic horror season, isn't it? It's okay, homage in Frankenstein, Day of the Triffids, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or Creature on the Black Lagoon to a certain extent, but it's so good, it's so brilliant. And I think we're going to talk about the cover, but the fact that there's so many villains to kind of squeeze into that image really highlights what a horrific, in small h, season this is.
And like I said already as well, the fact that these original villains, they're not Daleks or Cybermen, Sontarans, these are new to this season, which gives it a real freshness as well, I think.
Particularly after season 12, where there was a lot of returning monsters. And I can understand exactly why that was done with Barry Letts thinking there's a new Doctor to make sure the audience comes back. Let's put some tried and testeds in there. So even if the new Doctor takes a while to bed in, there's something for the audience to look at. As it turned out, you needn't have worried, but
well, no, I mean, I think this is why my love of actually not going back too often to things from the past stems from, because I grew up on this, so everything was fresh. So from my point of view, you don't have to have the Daleks in it every 20 minutes, or the Cybermen every 20 minutes, or the Sontarans. It's nice when they come back, but give them some breathing room. Every 4 or 5 years will do me. And I think it's because this season was just new. And
they're all strong villains.
Aren't they? Sutek scared them Jesus out of me back in the day. Duncan, had they got the 60 minutes version of Brain and Morbius on the box set? I still have that on pre-cert VHS. Do you really?
No, it's the omnibus edition. So what
which was the 60-minute version?
Was it 60 minutes or was it?
No, it was cut right down to 60 minutes, as was Pyramids of Mars. And then there was a version of Steeds of Doom that was prepared but never broadcast. And
they've got it on this, isn't they?
What would have gone out?
A brand new edit of the Seeds of Doom, it says on the press release. But who cares? You get to see it. I don't know why you'd want to edit it down, but the BBC, of course, did the summer specials back in the day, didn't it, guys? So maybe it was like that they never did.
Because Douglas Camfield was commissioned to do a cut down version of the Seeds of Doom for a summer omnibus, which he did. And it was prepared, but it was never broadcast. So I'm guessing this is the version that never went to air.
I remember the repeat they did of Planet of Evil and Sartan Experiment as a double bill over like a week, I think it was. And I remember that vividly. It was fantastic. I think the trailer's it'll probably be on this set now of that repeat screening, but it was a great having that extra repeat of Doctor Who, which you don't get very often in the 70s at all. Unless you live in Australia, Mike, if you're watching. But,
Legion of James sent to us here. I detest these tales from the TARDIS. They are clearly shoehorning in Gatwa's era companions and nonsense into these releases to try and force their inclusion in the canon. It won't work. I have to say, I do agree with that as well. I mean, they should know we will buy these things. The millions of people that Gatwa and Russell and everybody involved with the show told to go touch grass and it's not for you, and who left the show will buy this. And at this point, I want to say congratulations as well to BBC Studios, because yet again, when I checked earlier, this had made the #1 slot on the Amazon charts. 3 of them. 3 of them straight in at #1. Absolutely no issue. Straight in at #1. And then there were issues with the Amazon site as well, because for a while it disappeared. So I don't know what was happening there, but you can get it from all the usual stockists, everyone. But congratulations to the BBC Studios team again. Another huge success. And this shows as well, you don't need to shoehorn any of the modern crap in it, because we don't want it.
I don't think that someone's going to be, I watched the Pyramids of Mars and Mars Tales of the TARDIS. I love Shooty. I'll go and get his stuff. That's not going to happen. Let's be honest.
No, it's not. It'll be on the disc, but we won't watch it. It's fine.
I know that's what they'll say. They'll say you don't have to watch it, but you're bloody paying for it, aren't you?
I'm not watching that again. I watched it once. That was enough. You know,
Yeah, I'm paid with my time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would.
Go on.
I would rather the disk space was used for the Tom reading the audiobook version of the Pyramids of Mars than that.
Mind you, you could use that disc as a
That
coaster
would
if you
be
want
nice.
to. You can do that, couldn't you? So
Yeah.
it's probably a better use for it. Yeah.
Adrian James is saying, I wonder what stories will have CGI effects, says Adrian. I think Pyramids of Mars and Planet of Evil. No, it's Terror of the Zygons.
Yeah.
Updated special effects on Terror of the Zygons only, mate.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So that's good. That's good, Adrian, isn't it? At least we get to see that. That's all it is. And Enspiel, nice to see you, mate. Woohoo! Great news about season 13. This has to be one of the very best.
Mm-hmm.
Geriatric says this look effing magnificent. That's the picture of the thing itself. And can we get a replacement disc minus Fruity, says Cody W1. Stephen wants to know, JT, are you going to be tempted to get this one away? I am very, very tempted at this one, but I do have season 20, I think, coming out on standard release soon. Got to be careful with the old pennies because I don't like spending money, as you all know. Let Zygons be Zygons, says Robert Payne. Yes.
And we don't have a release date for this set yet, do we?
We don't. No. We just know it's going to be sometime by the end of the year.
Okay.
Hey, Marie UK sent to us, guys. Look, I still can't make my mind up between John Pertwee and Tom Baker. I love the look of them both, and that they both have captivating voices. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's
Why
fair
choose?
enough.
Have both.
Yeah.
Exactly. As Bedouin says, you don't need to choose between them at all. All right, so there's a lot on there, actually, everybody. So, oh, hello, Gambit. Nice to see you. How are you? Hinchcliffe and Holmes, the pinnacle that has never and will never be matched. Legends. Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's lovely. Well done you for that. And then again, Geriatric saying Sutek is one of the greatest Doctor Who villains. I will never forgive RTD for what he did to him. I don't think any of us will, and we're not going to forget. To be honest, and we mustn't let him forget, really, on that one. What else was? Yeah, great to see you all, everybody. So, yeah, out of all the... I mean, did you see the trailer as well, guys?
Yeah. What put me off the end of the trailer was seeing shoot at the end saying tune into the Doctor YouTube channel. That's
when I watched it, I thought, why didn't they use Tom saying it? Because that, Tom's done a version of it, so why didn't they do that?
Exactly, yeah.
It would have made more sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? I mean, that you get to that point and then you go, oh, quick, switch it
It
off.
proves that Billy's not the Doctor, otherwise she would have done it. Surely that would have been continuity, yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go. The problem being saying Tom and John, a decade of Who perfection. As I say, this was the golden age, and I'd settle for white noise taking up the space on the disc than Gatwood's You Know What, says Julianne. Yes. Yeah, go on.
I did love on the trailer the extract from Tom's talks, and I'm paraphrasing here, where he said, there are other doctors. I avoid them like the plague.
I think, wasn't that quote taken in a newspaper, took it out of context and thought actually Tom was being mean? He was just taking the mickey, you know what I mean?
Just being Tom.
Just being Tom.
To a point.
But as Paul said, if you read the complete thing that Tom said in the interview that he first mentioned that line, he said, we should all have our own time in the sun. He said, when I'm the Doctor, I'm the Doctor. When John Pertwee's the Doctor, John's the Doctor. He said, when Colin Baker's the Doctor, Colin's the Doctor. We shouldn't get in the way of each other.
He's got a point.
Yeah.
He's got a point. He really has got a point. But yeah, some great stuff there, apart from the two we've mentioned. I'm not going to forgive them for putting all that crap on from the modern era, because it's just not wanted from any of us. It's wrong audience. Wrong audience.
Yeah, the escape room thing really is barrel scraping.
Yeah.
Did they get some sort of concession for a couple of years to use one of the ones in London or something like that, do you think?
They probably did it 2 days or something,
Yeah, the sad fact is that there's so few people still with us that were there at the time or, directly involved in the making of these series now.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with new content without anybody, I suppose, must be a challenge.
Yeah.
But having said that, that's not a get out of jail free card for Drek like the Escape Room series.
No,
yeah.
Well, what's disappointing is that I know for a fact they've been pitched things like a documentary series on the incidental music for various eras and whatever, and instead they wanted this nonsense of escape rooms, because escape rooms were popular 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So let's create that and drag poor actors to go through this.
Are you suggesting, Bedweir, that BBC Studios were 5 years late to the party?
I'm suggesting they don't know their audience.
Yes. I mean, to me, one documentary that was crying out to be made and would have been perfect for the season 13 box set was a documentary about the Blackpool and Longleat exhibitions.
Yeah.
Because
I think they're going to save that for 11, aren't they? They're going to probably save it for that one, I think. Yeah.
What do you think?
75, particularly with Tom, Lis and Ian doing the Blackpool Illumination switch on, it was never more popular than then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
that made the national news as well. Certainly where I was in the northwest of England, I remember being very upset because Northwest Tonight, or Look Northwest, or whatever it was called back then, was showing it. I think they were showing a look at this.
I saw it as well, yeah.
And I remember just saying, "Mom, Dad, you didn't tell me. Why aren't we there?"
I'm really hoping that with that Blackpool exhibition clip they had on Seaside Special, I hope that's on there at some point, because that's a lovely little clip.
I can clearly remember again being a Northwest boy when the Blackpool exhibition first opened. Look Northwest did a news feature on it.
Wow.
Which started with all the Metabelus spiders on the zebra crossing, just in front of the exhibition. The camera tracked round to the 12-foot police box.
Yeah.
I don't know if the footage still survives.
Oh, I hope so, please. Yeah.
But if it does, it's problematic because it was presented by Stuart Hall.
Oh.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. As much of it was back then. If you don't know, that, look it up.
I remember. Stuart Hall was in the doorway of the police box and the camera followed him down the stairs and his walk through the exhibition. And he was out the other end.
Yeah.
And that was the TV launch of it. And if that still survives, it'd be wonderful to see. But unfortunately, the presenter means it'll probably not see the light of day again.
That's a real shame, because there's a similar clip with Tom on Jim Will Fix It with the when he's on it. That's an amazing clip and he's wonderful in it, but you obviously can't show it.
And there was and it was going into the 80s, I think. There was another Disney Time that was presented by another well-loved children's icon that fell from grace in a spectacular way from the Longleat exhibition.
Yeah. RH. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got Richard Thomas here saying to us, possibly the greatest season of Doctor Who ever, certainly in terms of consistently across the 26 episodes, in the scripting, the script editing, the acting, the music, the direction and production. Yeah, let's hope that they're sending a copy to RTD and any possible future producers of Doctor Who, because this is the way it should be.
This is the template, yes.
It has to be. This is the season, I would say, to any new production teams, that's the season. Go and watch that entire season, along with 7, probably. Sheriff Brackett, that Matthew Sweet guy is insufferable in those interviews he does on the Blu-rays. Thank you for that, Sheriff. You're entitled to that view. I have to say, sometimes I do agree with you. And Robert Payne saying, escape rooms were popular for 3 weeks 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And look at this one. Sorry, Bedweir, I just said 2 Doctors in 1 decade is the problem being New Who. We've had 5 in just 8 years. Yeah.
Go
on, Bedweir.
Yeah, I did do the one, or the first Doctor Escape Room, which was mildly entertaining, but I don't want to watch a 45 minutes of other people doing an escape room. It's like, watching, people play video games. Like that's not entertaining. That's awful.
The trouble is, it's now the same escape room, so you're seeing the same thing like several times, so you know what's coming as well, don't you? Just about, you know what I mean? So it's a bit pointless.
Oh, I haven't got through the first one. Is it literally the same?
And it is, they do the same things, just about, as far as I can remember.
What is the point?
Good exactly, yeah. Do that quickly, behind you, Just pantomime, honestly.
Yeah, and here's people taking the money for it as well. And on this one, of course, it's not going to be, that's why they called it the Fourth Doctor team. The Fourth Doctor team, I'm sorry, the Fourth Doctor team no longer is around.
Yeah,
I would love to hear Tom's reaction if he said, Tom, do you want to do this? Bleep, yeah.
Got a
As he throws the script out of the window.
From Panel Ghost here. If, like me, you have all the DVDs, does the panel recommend buying the Blu-ray box sets?
Yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a must.
Blu-ray player.
My 10-year-old self can't say no, and that's why I pre-ordered immediately.
Yes, unanimous. We are unanimous in that. So the problem is now you won't get a lot of the ones we're talking about now, which are the bigger collected edition ones, Hartnell's Ghost. You won't get those, but you will get the standard releases, which are 16,000 million years behind them. But this is the cover, the box set for this one. This is the collector's edition for season 13. There it is with the spine there, so it all matches up. For those of you that are interested in that sort of thing, there it is there.
One thing that disappoints me is I can see them using the same logo right the way through the series for consistency, but I always think it should be the logo that's appropriate for that season that should be used. That should have the Dino logo on it.
Of course it should. Yeah, it's such a shame, isn't it? But so Hartnell's Ghost, we do recommend the Blu-rays, but now if you're going to go and get them, you're going to have to get the standard editions, which are just as good. I get the standard editions. Legion of James gets the standard. A couple of the others get them as well. They're just as good, but you just have to wait longer. All right.
Yeah, if you want the limited edition, you have to pay for them on certain auction sites, and they're very expensive. Yeah.
Yes.
I can imagine. Joker, hello there to you. Nice to see you. Sorry, go on then, George.
Can I just point out, if you're about to pre-order the season 13 box, if there is one online retailer that currently has a 10% off discount code.
Yeah, who's that?
So if you order through them, it knocks a $5 off it for you.
There you are.
It's Master's voice, I think.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Would I be thrown in jail if I mention which retailer it is?
No, we're not. We're not regulated by Ofcom, thank God.
Okay. Well, if you go onto the Rare Waves website, Rare Waves have a 10% off discount code, so that brings it down to just under £50.
If we just see other retailers are available, we're fine.
Domgo is pointing out. Oh, David B saying, was Philip Maddock one of the best masters we never had as regards to guest stars? Yes, him and Julian Glover. Yeah, very probably. I think either Philip Maddock or Julian Glover as the master in a movie would have been sensational.
Yeah.
Glover especially because he understood the movie when he was so big.
Yeah.
Just leading on from what David said there. I mean, another thing about season 13. What a top draw guest cast throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
And some real top of the game actors of the day, like Philip Maddock, Tony Beckley,
Tony Beckley,
Freddie Yeager, all of them, John Woodnut. They're all beautifully well cast.
Yeah. Should have blown the bloody doors off.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. The only team member, I can't say that. Tom team member still alive is Matthew, says Domgo. And N Spiel is saying, oh, that cover drools. Now steady on us.
And Louise and Sarah Sutton.
And Lala. Something tells me they didn't fly Lala over to be part of the Fourth Doctor team in the escape room.
She was bleeped out the same as Tom was. That's what happened.
Something tells me Lala wouldn't bother getting anywhere near it. You're very welcome, Hartnell's Ghost. Good to see you there on that one. Yes, Stephen Braddock pointing out to us that Savvy says it's not the cover. Savvy says that the cover is not the final artwork. It is the final artwork. Lee Binding himself has put that out there, so it is. I think they just do that just to make sure they're.
Well, they say that, then they realise that they've John Pertwee's got
6 fingers.
6 fingers on one.
Yeah. It depends when it's all been packed and shipped.
Yeah.
So if they catch it in time, they might tweak it or put Pertwee's face back round, the right way round, that sort of stuff. But generally, that's only minor tweaks that's going to happen to it.
I know. Yeah. I have to be honest, Virtual Baz, I didn't check before we came on air that everything was still okay with Amazon. I'm sure it will be back up there as now, but I did notice earlier on it was there and then it disappeared. It might still be there. You'll have to have
I ordered it from there and I got an immediate pre-order confirmation. So
there you go.
Working. I did that this afternoon, so it's working. There probably was a bit of a culture shock. They had so many sales in such a quick space of time connecting to Doctor Who. Probably
absolutely, because in answer to a question that somebody asked there about where is the shooting gap with Series 2, well, I can't find it.
Yeah, I'm hoping Prentice is on this set. They would have filmed stuff with him, obviously prior to his death. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah. So.
And that's in response to Enspiel here for the podcast. We were blessed with some amazing character actors. I really like Prentice Hancock. He was fantastic, wasn't he? Just amazing. And he's in story 2, of course, Planet of Evil.
And if you turned over to ITV, he was on Space 1999 at the same time. Yeah, so.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, Doctor Who on the Saturday and him on the Sunday.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
I
Well,
was.
no. Another indication of how popular Doctor Who was in 1975 was ITV put Space 1999 out in direct competition to try and steal
we
Doctor
won.
Who's
Yay.
audience. And at the time, Space 1999 was the most expensive British TV program ever made, had the biggest budget, shot on 35mm film at Pinewood Studios, sort of budget that Philip Hinchcliffe could only dream of. Doctor Who trounced it in the ratings.
Yeah. I just remember Space 1999 being on Sundays.
The ITV moved it to a Sunday because they just couldn't get the audience off Doctor Who.
Yeah. And I think I must have caught a repeat of them because I was always watching Doctor Who. We were a BBC family, obviously back in those days. I was a Doctor Who boy. The family, therefore, were a Doctor Who family. Never
whether they liked it or not.
Yeah, whether they liked it or not.
Well,
so Space 1999, I didn't see. I just remember, what was his name? Barry, was it? Somebody, the one that played the Processor? I remember him on Sunday afternoons. Fabulous. But anyway, we're here to talk about season 13. Are the standard editions slimmer, says Matthew Pounder? Yes, they are slightly. They are, yeah. And they're in the old blue, what we used to call Amaray cases. David B's there for you as well, saying, yeah, they're slimmer. Stephen Braddock wants to know is, why does Planet of Evil get overlooked? I love it. I have no idea. And again, this is where I want to say to the boys and girls watching this particular show, the boys and girls that have joined us in Doctor Who fandom over the last few ridiculous years. Hello, boys and girls. Have a look at this. This is what you call an alien planet in Doctor Who, boys and girls. Yeah. This is the Planet of Evil.
Yeah, this is one of the examples where you look at it and think, oh, if only Doctor Who was an all-film series in the 1970s, because to this day, this was shot on film at Ealing Studios. This looks so fantastic, and it's such a clever use of the space.
Yeah.
It made the set look at least 10 times bigger than it actually was. And it was just phenomenally done. And Liz Sladen always cited Planet of Evil as her favourite of all the ones that she did.
I think even when they switched the studio, the set's still really well done, but the lighting's not as good as the original film. But it's still an amazing jungle set. It really is. Really creepy. Yeah.
And it's got water in it as well, boys and girls.
Yeah.
But if you look at it and think, oh, if only Doctor Who went to all film, and it all would have looked like this all the time.
Yeah. Stephen Braddock saying the Planet set has never been topped ever. Even when you get multi-millions of dollars to put into the show, look what happens. Robert Payne saying a set from back in the days when they went to the bother of making a set, and of course when they didn't have any money. Enspiel.
I think that I think Roger Murray Leach said something like that. Set cost something like £500 back in the day. It was basically. It was basically dressed up cardboard tubes.
And bits of vacuum cleaner.
Yes.
What's interesting, if you compare something like Empire Strikes Back, some of the bits with Yoda on Dagobah, that's a lovely set. And I think it's reminiscent of that. And I think been done on a shoestring budget, but you can see we can do imagination and a bit of fantastic filming and directing and stuff.
Yeah. In a film studio with film lighting.
Yeah.
And it all comes out in season 13, everyone. This is British talent at its best as well. This was the BBC top-notch broadcasting for Doctor Who. Can you imagine what everything else was like? And Spiel is saying that planet set is so remarkable. Wasn't there a documentary set around it once?
I know that the BBC, in all their internal training for set design and everything, used it as a prime example of how good TV design could be for many years. I mean, the BBC knew themselves that it was an absolute cracker.
Yeah,
and it was, it was they put it in as window dressing, saying, this is what we can do.
Richard's answering. Enspiel, yes, they interview the designer.
Yeah, Roger Murray Leach. Yeah.
Roger Murray Leach. Wonder what happened to him. We've also got here the BBC team could regrade the video to appear like film, says Enspiel. That would cost them though as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably watching the money now because they've got to possibly put together some Doctor Who episodes on their own. Oops, very controversial. What else we got here? And Duncan saying to us, it's like when the look of Spearhead being filmed all on film.
Yeah.
This is a packed, as we said though, guys. This is a packed box set. Is there anything in particular that you guys are all looking particularly forward to?
Well, the Ian Marter documentary for me, definitely. I love all the tribute documentaries. They're all very moving, and I know obviously Ian had a tragic end and stuff. So there's kind of like the Graham Williams one with J&T, they're very moving, and I think they're fantastically made. So I'm looking forward to that particularly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Paul, yeah, certainly the Ian Martin documentary, but any new material with Tom is always a joy for me.
Yeah.
I mean, what John Pertwee is to Ian, Tom Baker is to me. So, Tom being completely Tom-tastic, have my money.
Yeah. It's dated how long, though, when they filmed it. I'm sure Tom would know anyway, but he says, I think there are 10 doctors now or something. That was something filmed a while ago. Because we're up to 4,000 now, so yeah. So.
What about you, Bedri? Anything for you there of particular interest?
So for me, it's the In Conversation with Graham Harper. Having spent a very pleasurable evening in Graham's company, I think that will be a little hidden gem on this set.
Yeah,
because he's got some great stories and some great insight into not just Doctor Who, of course, back in the 70s and 80s, but 2006-07 he was directing as well. So
he was, yeah.
Having that different perspective of how Doctor Who was done then and how it is done now, he really does have a fascinating insight into how the show has changed, and yet it still stays the same somehow.
Wasn't he a runner on Power of the Daleks as well, or I'm misremembering?
Supposedly, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because he started with the BBC in the 60s, didn't he? As a young man. So that's what they used to do, wasn't it? You'd start with the BBC as a sort of apprentice, and you'd make your way up the BBC because you could in those days.
Yeah.
Because he was assistant director on Seeds of Doom, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
I'm sure
that's a lovely story about didn't Canfield give him an army jersey with his rank on it and stuff.
Yeah,
like that. That's lovely. Yeah.
Yes, but he got the ranks the wrong way round.
Yes. So I think he was promoted by mistake. Yeah. So
he accidentally promoted himself, and had to be very apologetic.
Doesn't he own, or didn't he own at one time, a copy of the Doctor Who Monster Book, which was published while the Seeds of Doom was being filmed, which he got signed by every member of the cast and crew?
Oh, really? Fantastic.
Yeah, and I really hope he still got it to this day. But there are photographs of it where every single person in the Seeds of Doom signed it for him.
Oh, wonderful.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Oh, God, can you imagine?
Yeah.
That would
Where does he live?
No, yeah. Anyone got a balaclava? That's fantastic. Hello, everybody. If you just joined us, we are here at Who's Views with this little show. We are talking about the release of this. This, of course, is the cover to Doctor Who The Collection Season 13, the Collector's Edition, which is available to pre-order right now from today. It's going to be available at some point towards the end of the year with a recommended retail price of $54.99. Yes, $54.99. As we're saying there, as the press release has told us as well, you've got some fantastic discs here to add to your ever increasing collection now as well. Obviously, you've got all these lovely features that we're talking about. It's 8 discs, everybody. You can count them there. 8 discs on the way. Wow, how fabulous is this? And I cannot believe how many people have just gone on and got this. As I say, it hit number 1 in the Amazon charts, all 3 major ones. So congratulations. But the chats that came through on the socials from BBC, on their YouTube channel as well, when they put the trailer out there, just fantastic. So much. It was so nice to see, as we've all seen in the chat tonight, some love towards Doctor Who again. Yeah. It's just brilliant. And it's taken Tom and Lis and season 13 to get us back there again. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it's a massive sense of relief, isn't it, to be honest?
Yeah,
but also bear in mind that season 13 has been available in various formats for decades now. It's not as if it's the first time ever these episodes have been released.
Yeah.
And that, within an afternoon they top the charts for something that's been readily available for 40 years or so.
Is that why Zygons and Seeds of Doom were taken off their iPlayer, do you think? Because this was pending to come out.
No. I think that's another issue. Right. That's another rights clearance issue, to be honest. Yeah, and I when it comes to the iPlayer as well, some of the other stories will be coming up now, and they will disappear as well. So this whole Whoniverse thing they wanted to collect on iPlayer, it's not going to be the be all and end all. I think
it's a limited time they have, isn't it? That's the
thing. Whereas when you buy these Blu-ray box sets, of course, they're yours, and they're there to have. And I think, for a Doctor Who fan, either the collector's editions or then the standard editions, whichever you want, these are essential because they're beautiful as well. As we all know now, the clearing up that the guys do on these things is absolutely gorgeous.
And that's why you should never get rid of the DVDs either. Always keep hard copies of stuff, because you don't know how easy it will be to watch this stuff in the future if everything does shift to streaming, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of love as well, of course, for all of this in the chat. It shows the high regard that real Doctor Who has held, says Enspiel. Matthew Pound is saying to us, the real Sutek. I don't know what you mean. There's nowhere else he's been, is there? No, not at all.
This is where he gets a kip on the TARDIS, isn't it? He has a kip on the TARDIS on the roof, and then that's it. This is history. Yeah.
Isn't it? Well, Woodhouse 122 with Rory there saying, I don't buy any other Who merchandise, but I pre-ordered this as soon as I could. Steve Braddock saying, I bring Sutek's gift of season 13 to all humans. Thank you for that. And Bill Lowry saying to us, the love is there because it deserves it. It's quality television, quality Doctor Who. Well, here. Here with that as well. And it's just come at the right time as well, because, this announcement, we've been expecting an announcement about a Blu-ray for a couple of weeks now. So this coming out now, I think it just shows you the power of it. And isn't it? I mean, this must have generated not just interest from Doctor Who fans, but a few bits of money. That's what I'm saying on that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was pretty, ambivalent about Doctor Who going forward, because, the latest series has come and gone. It doesn't seem to be coming back. Everything is quite negative, and this has really, boosted my spirits regarding Doctor Who again. So it's great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Legion of Dames. Dr. Wants is with us. I disagree with that. The upscaling on this from the trailer looks appalling. Well, we'll have to wait until you get it on your system, won't you, and have a look at it, Dr. Wants, I think. But I quite like the look of everything else I've got so far.
But what's on the trailer isn't always what's on the box set, though, isn't it? Because it's just a collection of clips, isn't it, to be honest?
Yeah. Hey, let's thanks for that, Dr. Wants. Let me talk about this as well. If you haven't seen the trailer, of course, you can go and see it. Not now. You can go and see it because it is available. And you know what I want to say about this trailer? It just shows you that you don't need to spend money on a little mini drama, because this trailer sells it, because there's the power of season 13 in itself, the power of Tom's Doctor, the power of that era. Because the trailer is bang, 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 and it does what it says on the tin. It's a trailer. It's brilliant.
It won't disappoint you. If you've not seen this season, you're going to absolutely love it. You really are.
What did you guys think of the trailer?
I absolutely loved it. I love the way that it sort of separated the 6 stories from the special features. So you had a sequential run through of each story and what made each story great. And then you had the nice new extra features package, hinted at. And then, of course, Tom's voiceover selling it was the icing on the cake. But terrifically well cut together and edited. And as you said, JT, it proves, much as I enjoyed, say, the one that Louise Jameson did for season 15. It's proved that you don't actually need those to get these to the top of the charts in one day. They sell themselves.
Yeah, but did you have a chance to see the trailer?
I mean, only on mute as we were coming on. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I can't really pass too much comment on it.
No, that's fine.
I did. I'm excited to see, the restored Scarrison.
Yes.
Having seen it for real, it is an amazing thing, and I want more and more people to see it, because it's
the clips he showed of the restoration of it looks amazing. It really does, and I'm looking forward to them adding them to the special effects. I'm hoping they're more subtle than the Rutan, because the Rutan was a bit heavy-handed for me. I'm hoping.
Well, that was a complete redesign, wasn't it? So
I mean, I have to say, Paul, on the season 15 box set, the CGI makeover of the Horror Fang I thought was really good. Apart from the Rutan itself, it wasn't badly done, but I just felt it didn't sync with it properly.
Yeah, it's a bit jarring. I think the effect itself was quite good, but it didn't really fit. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah. And I actually preferred the 1977 Swarfega version. I thought that.
So did I. Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
I mean, this is the great thing is you've got these alternatives because I will always prefer the original version of Horror Fan Rock because that's my version, you know, and I love the way that the Rutan looks. I don't care that it looks like sort of like yicky seaweedy mess, you know. I love that because it had such an impression, and it is. And again, at that age, it scared me. So I'm just hoping that I am really looking forward, Bedwyr, to seeing that this version here for the Scarison. And whatever else they've done in Terror of the Zygons, because I'm hoping it's been done with respect. But as a lot of people saying in the chat, could it be for the big news that what might get done? But let's see. Let's hope.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought in the broadcast version of Terror of the Zygons, the Scarison was actually a mixed bag because the model shots where it was stop motion animation. Of the full scale model or the full body model actually work quite well. It just falls down when it's CSO'd into other images like the Thames
and stuff.
But if you look at the model like where it's chasing Tom across the moors, it's actually quite effective.
Hopefully it'll just be sort of tidying up those edges and that sort of stuff, which will make all the difference.
Bizarrely, I think the restoration makes the actual model look better than it was in the actual episode, I think, personally.
But I remember seeing the model in the Blackpool exhibition, and it was a fantastic model.
Yeah. I vaguely remember it being there. But Neil's got it now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So the head. So that story is that Mike Tucker had it and gave it to Neil Cole and said, restore this, and he's done a absolutely superb job. It's
looks amazing.
It's never looked better.
Yeah, we must go and have a look at it. We've been talking about going back to Neil's place for ages. We must get our act together. Thanks, Sheriff Brackett, for your comment there. Nice to see you. Welcome to Whose Views. Marie UK is saying to us, "I love how I opened with I am not a human being. I walk on eternity." That line must have passed RTD.
He's an alien. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, how to do proper Doctor Who in one shot. The shot from Pyramids of Mars that opens the trailer, that wonderful shot of Tom standing in the TARDIS control room looking down, and as the camera tracks up him, he just looks up and looks right at the camera. And you just look at it and think that just epitomizes what Doctor Who is, and it's just a simple shot of your lead actor.
Yeah. And the way it is, I mean, the way he plays it is just brilliant, isn't it? Because, again, it's one of those things, if you're a certain age, you probably remember that scene because the music is wonderful in it as well. You've got the whole thing. You haven't seen the Doctor this moody before because we were so young. We haven't seen him like this. It's certainly different to the Pertwee Doctor in every essence you can get. So it must have been a little bit of an attraction to the not-wees that watching Doctor Who at the time with all the kids.
Mars, I love his alien quality, especially that bit when Michael Sheard is dead. He just rolls him over. That just like it's just moving a box or something. It's incredible. Really well done.
Yeah. I mean, this is. I mean, again, as I said at the top of the show, this is Tom's second series, everybody, and as I say, you can watch it any of these now. And if you're going to be buying the Bliss box set and you're new to this, you feel like he's been there forever.
Yeah.
Though in production terms, there was only a 3-week break between the production of season 12 and season 13, again because the BBC wanted to bring it forward. Rather than
they did it almost back to back. That's
almost. And rather than the cast and crew having the usual 3 months off, they had 3 weeks off and they were straight back at it.
Can I make another sort of confession here? As if you've watched our shows before on these things, you'll know that I actually like the behind the sofa feature. So I'm actually looking forward to that. It tends to be the one, guys, that I will go to first, even before I watch the episodes again, simply because I'm so familiar with the episodes. You can quote them, can't you? But there's these things here. I go to that because I like to see those not associated with the episodes watching them. So on this one, we've got Colin Baker, we've got Maureen O'Brien, we've got Katie Manning. That'd be very interesting to see her reactions to Liz and Tom.
So the combination, I think, is Maureen O'Brien and with Sophie Aldred.
Yeah, Katie is with Sadie and Toby Haydock, I think.
Yeah.
Toby Hadadaki Cookie. Toby Cookie. Yeah. And then you've got Sarah Sutton, Janet Fielding as well. So, yeah.
So they must be with Colin then. Yeah.
They must be with Colin.
At least it's not Matthew and Katie together again. I'm glad that's not happening.
Yeah. I was going to say, on the whole, I agree with you, JT. I do find them enjoyable, but they are a bit of a mixed bag.
Oh, they can be. I don't tend to like it when they bring people from the new series in to look at it because I'm not interested in them. But this one I'm interested in. I'm really interested to see what these guys make of it. I mean, this is a huge season for Doctor Who fans. This is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have loved it if they managed to get Tom on the sofa for this one, but clearly it didn't happen. I mean, the couple that he did do, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
He was actually. I love the way
he's on 12 and 14, is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I just love the way Tom just watches it. He forgets where he is. He just gets engrossed in the story and everything like this. And he's like, "Oh, I've got to speak." Shh.
Yeah, I think Maureen O'Brien and Sophie Aldred will be a good combination. It's like two different eras either side of this one, with very different perspectives on Doctor Who in my day, kind of ideas when. Yeah, I think it. I don't know how much Maureen O'Brien would have watched of Doctor Who after.
None. She said
none of it.
None of it.
She made it very clear that she went out of her way to have absolutely nothing to do with Doctor Who for many, many years after she left.
Yeah, so I think she'd be quite taken aback by some of this stuff, particularly in this season.
Yeah. But I mean, along those lines, if you watch the behind the sofa for season 14, Peter Purvis does something similar. That he points out differences between his time and how much it had moved on.
Yeah,
and makes some very interesting comments like, watching this, you can see why Tom was so popular and so loved in the role.
Yeah, and so quickly.
Mm-hmm. And I find that aspect of it, George, really fascinating, comparing the Hartnell era to the Tom Baker era and the fact they're actually involved in that era. That's really interesting,
A lot of you telling us what you go to as well. Some of you agreeing with myself and that you go straight to the behind the sofas. Yeah, even after 50 years, Tom can still sell the show brilliantly, says Duncan Evans.
Yeah.
Matthew Pounder is saying the 5th Doctor crew just slag everything off.
Yes.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Aren't they,
the season 9 box set, the behind the sofas on that. I was quite annoyed at that one because Peter Davison was being very dismissive of John Pertwee and his performance as the Doctor. And I was sitting there watching going, you're going to get a slap in a minute, mate, if you don't shut up.
Yeah. Well, certainly if they do that with this one, it just shows they've got no taste.
Yeah.
Because these are great stories after great stories after great stories, aren't they? And they are so special. So somebody hopefully would have said, don't say anything daft, because this is a very beloved series, Bedouin.
Yeah, but you'll get Janet Fielding complaining about Liz Sladen's costume changes
and her hair.
Yes.
Very probably.
Sarah Twitter ankle in this season, I can't remember. I think she does an Android Invasion, doesn't she?
She falls off a cliff. Well,
a hillock.
Yeah.
It's
very Five Doctors-esque, isn't it? A little bit.
Well, I think that's where the Five Doctors gets it from, because it's more or less the same theme, isn't it? Really. So I think it's one of those 20th anniversary things. But it is lovely. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, and of course I'm looking forward really to Tom Talks and especially Worlds Within, the profile of Ian.
Oh yeah.
Because none of us met Ian, really. Some very lucky fans there might have done. Don't know if you ever did, George, but I
did actually once. Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely man. Absolutely lovely.
There were so many of them from back in the day that unfortunately we never got the chance to, and it's such a shame. And Ian was one of those that God, it would have been lovely to meet Ian Marter, because Harry Sullivan is a great character. Unfortunately, in this series, of course, for the reasons we know, he's not really there, is he? Really,
he's fantastic in Zygons, though, isn't he? Harry and the Zygon Harry is brilliant.
Yeah, as I say, when he's the Zygon Harry, I mean that really is behind the sofa stuff. The way Dougie Camfield has shot it, I mean, it's straight out of a Hitchcock movie. It really is.
Yeah. So I was talking more about the end of the series, wasn't I? And Android Invasion, but this, But again, it was a great way to start Series 13 with the Zygons. And when you look at this as well, the Zygons, of course, iconic creatures that were never seen again. Well,
yeah. I mean, a great illustration of how good Philip Hinchcliffe was as a producer for Doctor Who, he knew that you put what money you had in a very stretched budget on the screen, because obviously a lot of the budget of Zygons was spent on the Zygon costumes.
Yeah.
So once you get the reveal at the end of episode 1, they get a lot of screen time, and deservedly so, because they're such good designs and a lot of money was spent on them.
Yeah.
You know, he knew how to make it look good.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I mean, not only did they look good, not only were they shot properly, but it was written by Robert Banks Stewart superbly with the Zygons. But I'll just show that picture again. They are iconic. That screams Doctor Who as well. And the fact that they made one appearance in 4 episodes, but they stayed with us forever, you know, absolutely fantastic. And I remember as well, that's how they looked in the Blackpool exhibition. They used to scare me rotten every year.
Yes.
I think it's a lot down to John Woodnut as well. A bit like Kevin Lindsay, when an actor treats the alien seriously, he plays it really, really well, and it's really a really good performance, and it's quite sinister, both as the Duke of Forgill and Broton. It's a fantastic performance from him, you know.
Yes. And those of us a certain age remember there was one of the Doctor Who jigsaws that was released in the 1970s. Was a horde of Zygons coming out of Loch Ness.
The enemies of Doctor Who range.
Yes. Yeah. And then it's clearly taken from a picture of Broton at the front. But the way the artist has drawn him, he's actually coming out of Loch Ness giving 2 fingers.
Oh, happy days with those.
It's called revenge.
And they were all, you know, these days those sorts of things would be copy and paste, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You know, but in those days they were illustrated by an artist, a proper artist with paintbrushes and stuff like that. How gorgeous. Matthew Pound is saying, I always view Zygons at the conclusion to season 12. I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. And Richard Brooks saying, Ian as a Zygon Harry was terrifying. Blooming was. Blooming was. And again, I'm, 5 years old? And it's one of those, Richard, memories I have, not understanding why suddenly Harry is doing this. You know, but going with it because it was Doctor Who and I knew Sarah was going to be okay. But Zygons scared me.
The other thing equally important that makes that such a hair on the back of the neck moment in Doctor Who is Liz Sladen, because she delivers in spades as well. I remember Barry Letts said in an interview of the hundreds of actresses he saw for Sarah Jane. He said lots could be brave, lots could be scared. Only Liz could be brave and scared at the same time.
And
she does that perfectly in Terror of the Zygons.
Yeah, we'll talk about Liz some more in a sec, but I want to read this one out from David B. David Tennant said he loved the Zygons, possibly the last time he said something intelligent. David B, you naughty little boy, but very, very correct. So, all right, so let's talk about this because, we have to acknowledge the fact that the almighty Tom Baker is also here with the almighty Liz Sladen. I mean, the performance between these two in this series is absolutely phenomenal. What a partnership. Never again, and I'm going to say this and put it out there. You can challenge me if you want, of course, in the chat. Never ever seen again. This was just perfection.
Oh, yes.
And for an entire generation, i.e. mine, not the others, because they're all older, except over here, this just cemented what Doctor Who was. To the point where for years, Paul, after the Doctor says goodbye to Sarah, because of Terence Dick's Uncle Terry in his book, I was expecting the Doctor to go back for her for years. Thanks, Uncle Terry.
He did eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well... the 5 Doctors, that's right, yes. But yeah, I mean, come on, look at those. I mean,
I think the only other lead lineup that's on a par with Tom and Lis is John Pertwee and Katie Manning.
Yeah,
but there's but they are very different relationships, aren't they? I mean, what Tom and Lis have got is it's a different sense, it's a different feel, it's a different approach. For me, Tom and Lis is more magical.
Yes.
One of my favourite lines Tom has, I think, since Seeds of Doom. Have you met Miss Smith? She's my best friend, or what to that effect. That's a lovely, lovely moment.
That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's not my girlfriend. You don't know that.
Yes. Or when the Doctor's trying to deactivate the force field in the pyramids of Mars, and Liz as Sarah just looks at him and says, "Your shoes need repairing."
Yeah.
just wonderful character notes like that.
I love the Gelignite moment as well. You know, when she chucks the box. That's brilliant.
The absolute wonderful moment where, again, in the Pyramids of Mars, and they're in the Pyramid of Mars. They walk in absolute sync, see the money, spin round in absolute sync, and walk out together and not
the Marx
lose
Brothers
it.
moment. Superb.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean about this beautiful, unique relationship between Tom and Lis. It was just captured, the right place, the right time, the right show, the right scripts, the right camaraderie. That has never really been, for me, captured again. It is unique because they had a similar approach, a similar sense of humor, perhaps coming from Liverpool. Both of them helped as well. They seem to understand each other. They seem to get into each other's minds, and it was just the chemistry, as we say. The chemistry was just above and beyond beautiful.
It was absolute lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, and you couldn't. I mean, we haven't seen it since, in my opinion.
I mean, there are great combinations, but no, Silva and Sophie are great together. They have a great chemistry, but this is peak. This is as good as it ever got. And Lis used to say it all the time in interviews. The Doctor was my best friend, and it didn't matter if I, tripped over a log or whatever. And that cliffhanger in Android Invasion, where she's revealed as an android, that's horrendous.
That's traumatic. I still get the goosebumps. I was watching it today to celebrate this release. I was watching the Android Invasion, and I was building myself up. I'm 55 bloody years old, who viewers. I'm building myself up to this because the impact for me as a then 6-year-old was intense, because Sarah was my girl and I was frightened. What have they done with my girl?
Do you remember the android Sarah in the Blackpool exhibition?
Yes, and I didn't like it.
So this season for me has what is the greatest Doctor Who cliffhanger of all time.
Ooh,
episode 2 of The Brain of Morbius. Blind Sarah stumbling around with the brain in the tank, going doolally at her. Is just the greatest Doctor Who cliffhanger ever.
Yeah,
there's so many great cliffhangers in this. One of my favorites is Seeds of Doom, when Sarah's been sacrificed to the crinoid, and it's kind of moving like that. And then it's a cliffhanger. Superb stuff. Amazing performances in this as well. Superb.
Yeah, I think we've already mentioned Zygon's episode 1. Just the classic monster reveal.
Yes.
But this is a brand new creature that looks horrendous, and it's threatening Sarah. So
yes, I mean, this is what this team, Philip, Robert, everybody involved with it, plus of course Tom and Lis, understood. You couldn't be frightened with the Doctor in a situation, even more so Tom's, because you'd seen him there before, and Tom's, I mean, look at the way he faces the Krog. Have we met when he's about to choke him? This sort of stuff. With Stigron, sorry. And it's a case of all these little bits. You, as a young boy, you were more frightened for Sarah. And would the Doctor get to it? How would she get out of this? And it was they understood this, and it was very much the damsel in distress scenario from the older days. But it worked, George.
Yeah. Apparently, I did read somebody had crunched some numbers on it one time, that the cliffhangers featuring Sarah outnumbered cliffhangers featuring the Doctor 2-1.
I think another one that really works for me is when he confronts Sutek in the pyramid, and that and his tomb, and that is really scary, because you see the Doctor being vulnerable, and it doesn't happen very often, and that's when it's scary, unlike last 2 seasons,
I mean, talking of great lines, has everybody seen / heard the redub of episode 1 of Pyramids of Mars that John Culshaw did a while back? The scene in the TARDIS where Lis is in the white dress.
No.
John Culshaw redubs it in his Tom Baker impression. And he says, yes, it used to belong to Victoria. She travelled with me for a while. She was a real goer.
That's brilliant. We should be outraged by that as fans, but we need to laugh. We need to laugh. Really loving the show tonight, says John Mason. John, thank you so much. Benign Crinoid is with us, saying it's good to see my brother Malevolent Crinoid getting his day on Blu-ray. That's brilliant. We love that. I can't wait to see it on Blu-ray in the next decade. Richard Brooks is also saying to us, Tom and Liz are best friends. John and Katie are uncle and niece. That's quite a nice way to put these extremely popular and very strong pinnacles of the Doctor and companions, because these are up there, aren't you? You've got Tom and Liz, you've got John and Katie, and then everybody else. No disrespect to everybody else, or maybe a little bit, but nobody. And then you've got the modern lot.
Yeah, but it's, I always think it's interesting to note that in season 11, Liz Slade and John Pertwee didn't have the same chemistry that John Pertwee and Katie did, and certainly didn't have the same chemistry as Tom and Liz did the following year.
True. Yeah, very true. Again, it's gone, but
I mean, I think they're pretty good. I think that's just because of the strength of the two actors you have. But you're right. There isn't that. You wouldn't see those moments of spinning around when you see the mummies, and you wouldn't have seen those with 3 and Sarah, but I think I think they do work well together. I do like season 11. I'm looking forward to that, but it definitely goes up a level as soon as Tom comes on board, and it's instant lightning in a bottle.
I mean, even things like in the Android Invasion, where Tom says, "What are you doing here?" and Liz turns around and says, "Rescuing you." For a change.
But that's brilliant, isn't it? I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. And only those two could pull this off. And I love that, again, from the Android Invasion. I was reminded today when I was watching it, and I laughed and laughed and laughed. I feel disorientated. This is the disorientation chamber. Well, that makes sense. Just brilliant. Ron is saying to us here, also, the writers were superb, making the two main characters gel so well together. Absolutely. Steve Braddock is saying to us, so many great Tom quotes in this season too. Duncan, I don't know what you mean by this. He's saying 2 Scousers having fun. That doesn't involve putting cars on bricks. What's he mean by that? How dare you? Go and sit in the corner.
I couldn't possibly comment.
And also, I think part of what was certainly a contributory factor towards the success of the relationship and the dynamic was Tom would always ensure that Liz and Sarah were treated properly. I mean, Liz said in many interviews, Tom would stop a rehearsal and say, "No, not having this. That makes Sarah look stupid. And I wouldn't go around time and space with somebody stupid. We need to do better than this." And Liz would, turn around and mouth at Tom. "Thank you, Tom."
Isn't that lovely? Isn't that? I love these stories, everybody, because it's just brilliant. And he was right, wasn't he? He was absolutely right. Bill Lowry, the scene from Pyramid to Mars where they twirl Bedouin in unison was cut from the Tales version. That is shocking.
Let's not talk about the Tales version, please.
I mean,
nobody watch this.
I'm having fun. Let's not talk about it.
And Dom goes saying Dr. Four and Sarah Jane is the best example of a relationship of pure love and fun. No need for the rubbish faux pas sex stuff we got with Rose with RTD. That's very true. I mean, I still think that the alleged modern audience today could watch Tom and Liz in any of these episodes from this season very happily. And in fact, I go far to say, if you are looking to buy this for a new Doctor Who fan as a present, whether it be Christmas, a birthday, a Valentine, whatever it's going to be, this, from me, is the one that you should get them. I would recommend this. This, for any potential new Doctor Who fan, is the season to introduce them to. And then Series 7. This is the one, because it's got the monsters, it's got the music, it's got the direction, it's got Tom and Liz. It's got brilliant, proper stories that don't need edited.
This is quite an adult series, right? But they don't have that element of will they, won't they in it. You have at the X-Files. There's never been any of that in this season at all.
Don't need it either, do you?
Doesn't need it, exactly. So
there was never any hint of that, and nor did there need to be.
No.
In fact, if you put that in it, it would have lessened it.
It would have, yeah.
It's just 2 best friends going about the universe having adventures.
And that's how it should have been. And that's why I think this show, and if you weren't there, you don't know. This show, a little Saturday show that the BBC would just produce and forget about and then put it on, was huge. And as you said there, George, as well, after this series, I remember seeing Doctor Who everywhere, whether it be on underpants, whether it be on mattresses, whether it be on T-shirts like Bedwears with Tom Baker glaring at you with that beautiful orange and red version of the logo, car stickers, postcards,
Dalek ice creams.
Dalek ice cream,
Doctor Who chocolate bars.
Yeah,
it was everywhere, and this program, this series, actually helped to cement this golden age. It was just a beautiful time to be in Britain at the time, wasn't it?
Yes, and you pass the time between Saturdays playing your 2 Doctor Who board games or reading one of the Target books,
or in the playground.
Yes.
Because we used to play Doctor Who and the Daleks as kids until the Zygons turned up, and then we all used to go, "We're gonna get you." Scary stuff, I tell you. Julianne is saying to us the cliffhanger in Seeds. Tom crashes in through the skylight to save Sarah. Julianne, yes. Would any other Doctor do that?
Maybe John. John might do that. Maybe perhaps.
Maybe, but he'd do it with more elegance. He just wouldn't go.
John would have like a proper winch to
he'd have under his collar or something.
Yeah.
And then a Venusian karate chop to the throat.
He would be wheeled down elegantly. Hello.
Talking of violence, so my favorite. I love that bit in Seeds of Doom where he turns Scorby's head like that. That it does look so. It really does.
We were talking about that the other day, wasn't it? Really. And that scene, and it was a case of, again, it shows the Doctor's awareness of human anatomy, because I remember years ago at a convention, a fan was saying he thought the Doctor was trying to break Scobie's neck, and I'm like, no, he understands how to make a human unconscious, just like Spock does. With his pinchy thing, This is the Doctor just going, right, if I just put that there, there you go. He's not trying to kill him at all. Talking of which, David B is saying, is there an interview with John Challis, Scorby on the box set? According to this, no, mate, there isn't. They would mention it.
Is there not one on the original Seeds of Doom?
Yeah, I was going to say there is on the original DVD.
What's that?
Yeah.
Well, there is, Dave.
Yeah. And doesn't he do the audio commentary as well with Tom?
I think he does. You're right.
I think he does. Yeah. I think he does from a long time ago. So in that case, because it does say, Dave, I'll just repeat this. This 8-disc box set also includes hours of special features previously released on the DVDs, including documentaries, featurettes, audio commentaries, and more.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, John Challis is no longer with us.
I know. Bless him. Yeah. He would have loved this as well, wouldn't he? He would have been in there.
Oh, by his own admission, despite his huge success with Only Fools and Horses, he dined out on being a Doctor Who villain for decades afterwards.
And he was a stalwart of Douglas Camfield's kind of rep company as well, wasn't he? You got a lot of different things. Yeah,
definitely. I think Graham actually said that in one of the previous interviews I've seen him at as a convention, because he would name some of the actors who have done really good stuff after his little rep company sort of disbanded, if you like. Graham is saying Morbius Claw, huge, I tell you. There, that's another show. Also saying to us, John Challis was superb as Scorby. Really good performance. Yeah, absolutely.
One of many, many really strong actors who just delivered in spades in their role in one story.
Even Seymour Green, who plays Hargreaves, is very good in it. Who goes on to play is it the Mestor's Equerry, whatever it was in Twin Dilemma, bizarrely, So.
That's right, yeah. I'm delighted to say that, master of everything that is museum-ish. Neil himself. Hello, Neil Cole. Long time no see. Hope you are well and happy. Just heard I restored the Scarrison for the box set and presented it to Philip on location at the Fox. Did you really? Oh, great. That's the other thing. So Neil's saying to that, that's brilliant, because I am actually really interested in what this is. Return to 13 is a very, very clever title. Sadly, it could also include somebody else now, but never mind. Philip Hinchcliffe returns to the locations of several season 13 stories and is reunited with old friends. So I take it then, Neil, that the Scarrison is one of the old friends he's reunited with.
Yeah.
You see
you've done a great job, mate. Well done
on the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true, that one. Yeah. But well done, mate. Well done for that, for all your hard work on that, Scarrison, because it does look brilliant. We've been talking about coming to see you at some point. There's some of us here. So at some point, we'll get our asses together and we'll get down and we'll come and have a look at your Scarrison, if you pardon the expression.
And I'm right in saying that one of the Zygon costumes still survives as well, doesn't it?
Well, Neil's got one in his museum, and I was fascinated with it. I've got lots of pictures of it, because I was just like, oh, look at those bumps. Absolutely beautiful.
So that was restored for the Doctor Who experiences. Suffered a little bit once it moved to Cardiff. Long story. Well, if they are going to put it in a giant tent, then that was bound to
Yeah.
happen. But then it got restored again. Yeah. So after that closed, a couple of years passed, and again, Mike Tucker has loaned it to the Museum of Classic Sci-Fi in Allendale, where it is lovingly looked after in a stable environment, properly lit. Actually being properly looked after for a change.
Absolutely. And it is gorgeous. It's well worth a trip to Allendale to go and see Neil's museum. It's not just Doctor Who. There's some other fabulous bits and pieces there, but I'm more, I'm a big fan of the Doctor Who stuff for obvious reasons, but there's some great stuff in there. But Ria's got some stuff in there as well.
Yeah, there's an exciting event coming up in Hexham, because if you're in the area, you'll get sort of 2 exhibitions for the price of one in that.
Where's Hexham?
Oh, only down the road.
Yorkshire?
Well, more Newcastle.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Towards that way. Right, okay.
Yeah. So same sort of area. But this summer there's going to be a sort of Museum of Classic Sci-Fi spillover exhibition in Hexham.
Oh, lovely.
As well as the museum in
How long is it running for, by the way? Do you know when it finishes?
I think it's up until September.
All right, okay. Right.
There we go. Mark Greaves is saying to us Doctor Who top trumps. I'd forgotten about them. They're over there.
And yes, I've got a set as well now. From memory, is it the Ogron and the Sea Devil that get mixed up on the car?
Yes.
And the Sea Devil becomes the Ogron and vice versa.
Yeah. I used to love that.
Upset my OCD-ness greatly, I have to say.
Well, I used to being the major geek fan, even at that age, I would say, these are wrong. I get extra points. So that was good. Woodhouse 122 saying, I'm glad series season 13 isn't the last set to be released. They made us wait till the end of the range for the Zygons DVD. They did. They did, it was a long wait, and we all wanted it as well, didn't we? Graham is reminding us that the Doctor falling into the black pool in Planet of Evil was thrilling too, a wonderful cliffhanger. The whole thing about Planet of Evil is it is scary as scary things get. And again, when you're a child on a Saturday afternoon, the noise of the antimatter monster stays with me to this day.
Well, and also, the antimatter's monsters' victims ending up as withered husks.
Yes, they're really scary. The way they disappear, then they come back again, don't they? That's just horrible. Yeah,
it's part of the thrill, though, isn't it? Everybody, this whole thing about Doctor Who, and they say, "Oh, Doctor Who was too scary for kids." Give it over. We loved it.
No, it wasn't.
We loved it. It was part of that thrill.
And Freddie Yeager as Sorensen's brilliant. I love that kind of Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing they do as well with it. It's really good. Yeah.
Doctor Who was my interest, my introduction to this genius of an actor. And when I started seeing more and more after that, whether it be films he'd done before, or films he did after, or TV series, of course, it was because of Doctor Who, and that I started to go, "Oh, I like this guy," and
he's in so many different things. He's in everything, really, to be honest.
And brilliant.
He didn't have an agent. He'd self-represent himself and just send off to people, and did it all himself. Apparently, So,
did he?
Yeah, apparently,
He was brave in those days, wasn't he?
Yes. Yes, he was known.
George.
Yes. He always used to boast that he kept 100% of his fee and didn't give 10% of it to an agent.
Good for him. Yeah.
Clever man.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a doddy there, but we don't care. Benign Crinoid saying to us, Harrison Chase, the complete symphonies would make a great extra.
I love that. Like, this music's terrible. What's that? This music's terrible.
It would probably fit very well into any new version of Doctor Who. I'm sorry, I'm being going the wrong way. And Stephen O'Neill saying to us here, Seeds of Doom, brilliant story. And when that scientist turns into a crinoid, scared me for a whole week till the next episode. Same here, Stephen. Yeah. And all the kids at school say, do you see what happened to that guy on Saturday night in Doctor Who? No. It's horrible. It's because Mary Whitehouse was right in a sense. The image did stay with you, but you played on it and you talked about it and you loved it.
Yeah, but you knew that it only existed within the context of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Which is what made it so good.
Yeah,
I think Tom's very alien in this story as well, isn't he? Like in Pyramids, he's very, very straight, very serious. He has a lovely comic moments, but when he's talking about Tim Mobley and all that about operating and stuff like that, it's incredibly. It's really, you really feel the gravitas in Tom's performance and the real fear of what's going on. It's really superb.
But, as you said, Paul, he really knows how to counterpoint it with a good punchy, funny line. Things like it could mean the end of everything, including your pension.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, great
Oh,
line.
he turned around and he does that complete spin.
Yes, does a 360.
Yes, yes.
It
Or-
shows you how good this season is, doesn't it? And it's going to be great to relive it all on the box set here, because it's got everything. It's got action, it's got adventure, it's got science fiction, it's got suspense, it's got thriller, and it's got great dialogue. Neil Cole confirming that. Hello, yes, it will be on display with Bidweer on the 20th. You going in a glass case?
I hope not.
Leave the window open just a little bit, you know.
But I will be there if anyone's got Who Tears t-shirts to sign.
Yeah, it could be that. So Bedweer, Welsh. Julianne Goodwin is saying lots of fisticuffs in Seeds. The chauffeur had a bad day. He did a bit.
Yes.
But again, it's
Tom's a bit punchy in this, isn't he?
Yeah. But you know, this is all the stuff that's missing from all the news. That's why I would say this is the season to buy any new sort of fan getting into it. So this is Doctor Who, because I still think the kids today know what a story is, and with everything's in here, thrills, spills, monsters, Tom and Lis, everything's in here, and some action, which is especially, and call me what you like. You can call me an if you like. But a lot of little boys still like the action there, you know, the old fisticuffs and stuff, and some little girls as well, obviously, as well. But this again, we were talking about the boys' own quality to the Sea Devils. This is it's again there, but it's, you know,
some of the model shots in Seeds of Doom as well, super, especially the helicopter shots.
Yeah.
And when they blow up the base and all that kind of stuff, amazing stuff, really good. You know?
I mean, ditto for Terror of the Zygons, the model shots of the Zygon ship and the Zygon ship blowing up at the end. You know, to this day, stand up so incredibly well.
Yeah. That shot for me is always very special, actually, because do you remember there was, I don't know if it's going to be on this, it probably will. There was a children's, was it math show? I don't know. There was another children's documentary show or children's educational show by the BBC during the day. And we watched it live at school, junior school. And because they were covering Doctor Who, I remember everybody looking at me saying, "Oh, this is the one you like. This is the one you like." And they're like, "Yes, it is." Brilliant. And then they showed that clip. Yeah. They showed that clip, didn't they? You know, it was that bang big enough for you, Brigadier, which is one for the grown-ups in the obviously. You know. The amount of times that got played back at the Doctor Who conventions in the 90s.
Yeah.
No idea. Poor old Nick. He was like, "Oh, for heaven's sake!" Eventually, it's going to be great to see Nick in this as well, isn't it? Actually, think, you know, absolutely fabulous. Rick Storm. I don't know what he's doing, mate. Look at this. Keep your eyes peeled for the exact moment that Sutek climbs onto the TARDIS.
Yeah, I'm not going to look out for that.
No, we're keeping it happy here, Rick. What are you talking about? And there was no complications in these stories, says Andrew Parker. No, they were just good.
No Ogrons at all. No.
Just good stories, isn't it? Noodle Arms is saying Planet of Evil, if only it had been done on film.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, if the whole thing had been done on film like Spearhead. I mean, if this all of season 13 was all film. I mean, Brain of Morbius was the season cost-cutting one. It was all done in studio, all done on video camera. Imagine what Morbius would have looked like if it was done at Ealing on film.
Yeah.
I'd rather not, because it would be bloody brilliant. And can you imagine now that they've discovered Blu-ray, Bredweer? Can you imagine what it would look like? Wow.
I have to say, it's still bloody brilliant in the way it's set anyway. I mean, I remember seeing it both original broadcast and the repeat. But the opening scene still scares me even now. The bit where Kondo gets the mutt at the start, that's really scary. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that squeak it makes when he chops his head off, that's horrible.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like studio either.
It doesn't,
no, it
not
doesn't.
that point. There's very well lit at that point. When it's daytime outside, it's not so convincing, but it's still a fantastic story, though. Yeah.
Stephen O'Neill is saying Harrison Chase puts that poor unit soldier in that vegetation feeder for the crinoid. It was psychological horror as you've never saw it. It was all in the mind's eye. That's how you get away with it, isn't it? Because your mind, you know, does it for you, and it's horrific. That was horrific, but it was bloody good. Even as a kid, you're like, oh my god, you know. And then of course, it sets the scene, because what does he do? Dumps the doctor into it.
Yeah.
And you just
love the fact when Sarah tries to stop it and it speeds up. That's brilliant.
John Mason's got a question. I have some cards that the corners cut at an angle. Are they the Typhoon T cards?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
A set of 12.
Set of 12 that was supposed to get stuck on a lovely big poster.
Yes, and the accompanying annual style book that went with it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but good stuff. Happy days there. Yeah, Cross and Blackwell beans, baked beans
Indeed,
around
yes.
that time as well.
Where,
TARDIS.
yes, you could send off for your own cut-out TARDIS book,
And I did.
as did I.
Fabulous days.
Those were the days when you had to collect so many different products. I still have a phobia for Weetabix. I'm telling you that now. Honestly,
I
I
love
just have so
that.
many packets.
I've said it before. It's
Yeah.
it's Doctor Who's fault with all these free cards that I am still eating Weetabix to this day, in the hope that one will fall out.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Benign Crinoid is saying to us, I must know what happens when the crinoid touches human flesh. Is in my Tinder bio. Okay, far too much information shared there. I want to play in my green cathedral, says Stephen Bradley. Yeah, all these wonderful lines that we as fans remember.
Yeah, Tony Beckley's brilliant, isn't he? Superb performance. Yeah.
Doctor Who was meant to put the willies up children like the fairy tales, this Forbidden Man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was about. Sassy afternoon. I mean, what did Robert Holmes say? Let's scare the little buggers.
Yeah.
And by God, he did.
And thank you, Mr. Holmes, for that. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know there was a review of The Brain of Morbius on its original transmission in one of the papers. I think it was Jean Rook who reviewed it. And she said...
There's a name.
Yeah, she said something... I'm not sure if I've got it word for word here, but this is certainly the gist of it. She said, compared to the latest Doctor Who adventure, dear old Hammer Horror wouldn't crack toffee.
I love it. I absolutely love it. She was right, though, as well. Wasn't she? Thanks, Graham, for your chat there. And Stephen saying to us, one of the best ever cliffhangers is Sarah's arm about to be clamped for the opening crinoid pod. Again, terrifying. What are they doing to Sarah? What are they doing to Sarah? And yet you knew that the Doctor was going to do something. You just knew that he wouldn't be that far behind, but you still weren't sure. That was the whole thing about, this whole beautiful era. When did you come across this, Bedouin? Because you're slightly younger than me. So when did you first... When did you get introduced to this?
Slightly.
Shut up. Dare you. So when did you find this one?
Well, I mean, this would have been when I was collecting the videos.
Right.
So it would have. So I would have seen this in a random order, as and when I could have obtained copies of stuff. I mean, I'm trying to think. So, yeah, Zygons was pretty early on in the releases, so I probably I think it took me a while to get hold of a copy of that, because by the time I was coming round to getting these things, it was probably the second release of Zygons after the TV movie that I first watched it properly. But I remember the VHS cover for the Android Invasion really clearly.
Oh yeah,
and that was quite striking.
Yes,
and sort of loving Seas of Doom, because that was a 2-pack and 6 episodes, and yeah, so I would have watched it in like a random order. So at least this box set will allow me to watch them in chronological order as they were meant to be.
Wow. That video for the Android Invasion, it was one of those covers that I to this day remember face out in our price.
Yeah,
on the video.
It was very reminiscent of the Target book cover, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seemed to be a little bit more colourful. It was.
Is that
just
the one that's got
orange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The back of it, though, there's no photographs. It's like the back cover has got pictures from the front cover on it.
It uses the front cover illustration rather than stills. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
If you've just joined us, welcome to Who's Views. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give us a like. If you've already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are still subscribed. We are here celebrating the fact that BBC Studios have today, on the 3rd of July, 2025, the 3rd of July, everybody, announced that the next in the collector's editions of the Blu-rays is Doctor Who Season 13, Tom Baker's second year, unbelievably, as the Mighty Time Lord here. Got all these wonderful discs in there as usual. Fabulous stories coming your way, everybody. Terror of the Zygons, Planet of Evil, Pyramids of Mars, The Android Invasion, The Brain of Morbius, and The Seeds of Doom. Absolutely fantastic. Let's take a look close. This is what they call the close-up of the cover. There we go there. Now, Paul, Yeah. What's the situation with you in this cover? As a few of the others in the chat are saying.
Well,
about
I love Tom in his Saigon costume, and I love the fact they can do that continuation, like for Talons of Weng Chiang, they've got him in his Holmes costume, which is lovely. I love all the monsters in the front, and he's holding the Zygon, the Scarus and homing device. Brilliant. It's the backdrop I don't really like. I can't. It's just it kind of clashes for me a little bit. So I don't really like it, and I don't. I think. Lee Binding said he wanted people to guess what the background was. I can't work out what it's meant to be, but I think for me it clashes, So
there it is. There answers on a postcard to Whose Views, BBC Television, London W12.
I know what it is.
Yeah. So this is it. I mean, anybody in the chat want to hazard a guess what this one is? Let's have a look. Bedwy, you think you know as well? Oh, look at this from Domgo. This is nice, isn't it? Great. We're all talking about something exciting about Doctor Who. Yes, it is. Andrew Parker, why do they still use Jodie's logo? God knows.
So they all look the same.
Yeah.
So they complained the last time.
This is something that goes back to the VHS range, because what happened when the VHSs came out originally is that they had a certain design, and that design was changed, and the logo was changed to update it to what was then the Paul McGann TV movie logo. And we as Doctor Who fans, and yes, I was part of this, I can't speak for Paul, wrote in our millions saying, how dare you change them when they're not consistent on the spines or on the look of them anymore.
I didn't write it, but I did more about it, yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's the only thing that BBC Enterprises, which then became Worldwide, which is now BBC Studios, has ever taken on board from Doctor Who fans. Don't change the look of it. So when these DVD came out, and we complained about these because they were all these horrible bloody BBC, these are the only BBC spines that stayed with the grey silver thing, because all the other BBC DVDs changed. Doctor Who stayed the same, so we didn't moan, and that's the reason why this isn't changing either.
But prior to the video series, how many times did the Target books go through a redesign?
Exactly.
You were lucky if you got half a dozen of the Target books that had the same house style before they changed it again.
Yeah.
I love the original black Doctor Who logo. That's superb. It's really good. Yeah.
Well, I've said it before. The original plan was to have the relevant title sequence and the relevant logo to the Doctor, and I think they should have done that. It would have looked so much better and kept us all happy.
I agree with you on that one.
I hate that logo. It's so bland, says Marie UK. Sorry, Bavia.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you put the cover back up.
Hang on. That's all hands on deck. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you. Let's put the cover back up. There we go. This is the clean version.
Yeah, I think where would you put the diamond logo on that, unfortunately?
Yeah,
it's the way they were designed, isn't it? Because the way, as you can see, when the logo goes on, that's the logo there. So you would change that.
You need a horizontal logo for it to fit that design. I'm not a massive fan of this particular one because I think there's one too many monsters on the cover. Like I would have dropped the mummy because I think
you got Sutek to represent that story, haven't you? So
I think it looks too busy.
Yeah. Oh, I have to say, I really love the monster parade at the front there. I think that really encapsulates one of the strongest elements of the season. For me, much as I think the image of Tom is great, and he looks splendid in his Zygons variation, for me, the definitive version of his costume is the Pyramids of Mars one. He just looks so elegant in the plum frock coat. With the sort of rust-coloured cravat, and I would have loved it if they used that version of his costume rather than the Zygons one, because that to me is the definitive version.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Although looking at it, maybe I'd take Sutek out.
I think they've probably put the mummy in there because the mummy is an iconic one. And maybe it's to attract the Notwees, because we know that if a Notwee is going to buy these things, it's going to be Pertwee and Baker, Tom.
Yeah,
and some Notwees might pass this by when it's shelf out in HMV or wherever now, and they go, oh, hang on, and it might click. So I don't know. I think that's all they've done it, but I think they should have had the Stigron in there rather than the mummy.
Yeah,
because he's hidden. Can you see him?
He is very much hidden.
Yeah. Yes, just below the crinoid.
Yes. And it's a shame because it's a brilliant mask. And again, when you saw him in Blackpool,
Yeah,
that's
on
another one
the
of my issues. Really, is the fact that their sizing is all over the place. Like Morbius looks really big, but then Stigron looks really small, and I think that balance is wrong. They need to be more equal on that composition.
Yeah. Lots of you in the chat. Were you going to say something there as well, George?
I probably was, but I'm now having a senior moment and I can't remember.
I can relate to that, George. Yeah.
It's a feminist logo, says Matthew Pounder, has the Venus symbol in the O. I never actually realized that until Paul or Ian or somebody showed it me the other night. And I thought, what? Really?
Apparently that was the female symbol in the O was dropped very quickly, wasn't it? When it got a lot of backlash.
What else have we got here? Benign Crinoid saying, I'm on the standard release schedule, but I'm going to have to get this. Season 7, 4, 25, and 26 get close, but season 13 is the top dog for me. Benign Crinoid, that's because you've got your little friends in there, haven't you? Your uncle, Malevolent Crinoid. Yes, we know. Graham saying, lovely to see Benton in this season as well. Bless him. Stephen O'Neill, Nicholas Courtney's final regular appearance in Doctor Who in Terror of the Zygons. That's why it's special, actually, to have it, because, yeah, it is.
There was one bizarre thing I noticed about Terror of the Zygons, and I've said this before, I love spotting actors who've been in Doctor Who before. I can't remember the actor's name, but there's a soldier in Web of Fear who's in Terror of the Zygons. He's the one that keeps saying Sir all the time, and Brigadier says, can't you say anything else but Sir? And he's in Web of Fear, which is really bizarre, that being the two stories that bookend the Brigadier, which I thought was interesting. Or Left Big Stewart.
Nice.
You know?
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's similar to the guy in the Android Division who's also in Pertwee's time. You know, the soldier that falls off the cliff and then comes back.
Max Faulkner. Yeah.
Sorry, that's the name. Yeah, couldn't. That's true, that isn't it? And Stuart B1970 is with us. Hello, mate. You will know this one, then, won't you? Season 13 is top tier Doctor Who. Every story is an absolute classic, and I cannot wait to get it. Absolutely. Oh, Graham is saying, "Sacred Flame." Yes. Matthew Pounder, the Hitchcock approach.
I happen to know that Joe Munro, who is in Planet of the Spiders, was approached to be Ohika in The Brain of Morbius.
Was she?
Because she was a trained dancer and she knew movement, and they wanted somebody who could coach all the other actresses cast as a sisterhood to do the synchronized movement. And Joe turned around at that time and said, but I've already done a Doctor Who. Why do I want to do another one? And she turned it down, which she regretted in a big way in later years.
I bet she did, yeah. As if I used to have a little crush on Jo when she did Angels. I loved that show.
It was Jo in That's Life, wasn't she? She did that.
Yeah. She only did 1 year, though, didn't she?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a story there. Stephen O'Neill is saying to us, I enjoy waiting for Saturday to Saturday for the next episode. And unlike nowadays, where they show you a preview of the next episode, taking away any suspense, I still think, as you'll know, Stephen, I still think that format could work today very easily.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's easy. Suspense.
Oh, I mean, back then, Saturday couldn't come around fast enough.
Exactly. Yeah. Right, let's have a look. Duncan the Funky. I put all my VHS tapes, says John, in the dustbin, but I kept the covers. That's clever. That's clever. Because the VHS cassettes in Britain at the moment are worth nothing. The artwork, however, another story. Duncan's saying to us, is it meant to be the Zygon's power source? This is us talking about what's behind the Tom Baker Doctor on the cover. What else have we got? The backdrop, says Stephen, looks like the Whittaker era title sequence. Heaven forbid.
That's a good point.
I don't know if any of you saw this, but I had an email from online retailer Zavi, and they used the Whittaker as the backdrop to put this box set on.
Did they?
How very dare they?
I'm not even joking.
How rude.
They obviously put in, series 13 and
Oh, of course. Yeah, actually, I know that for a fact. When I was putting the show together earlier, if you put in Doctor Who season 13, unfortunately, Jodie Whittaker comes up all the time. And I think, no, you have to put in Doctor Who Classic season 13. No, I don't want to do that, Google. Get your act together. Thank you very much. Noodle Arms is saying, I think it's his hair. It makes Tom look odd. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. I don't think Tom needed his hair to look odd.
No, no help. Yeah.
Hello, Leo James Ward. How are you, mate? The second Terror of the Autons cover was fantastic. This is us talking about all sorts of things now when it comes to the what do you call it, the VHSs. God bless them. Marie UK saying to us, the background looks like the inside of an alien egg. Stuart B 1970 saying to us, Pyramids of Mars was the first story I bought on VHS. Yes, it was edited together and cost me around £40, but I was so excited to watch it and have the same excitement for this box set. Yeah, we are going to be doing a show about VHS days here on the channel, so stay with us and come and bring us your memories, because those, like Stuart, it was so exciting getting Revenge of the Cybermen, Pyramids of Mars, Death to the Daleks. It was.
And then even more exciting when they brought them out when they were unedited as well. You bought them again.
Proper episode format.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We
Proper
should have known then,
yeah.
gentlemen, how many times we will be buying these things. You know? We should have known. The poor old Kral almost disappears on the cover, says Dunky Evans. It does a bit, yes. Leo again is saying Pyramids, yes. Ron Sapp is saying whatever that is, Monster Rally, I think that's supposed to be. Yeah. Hello, Darren. Darren Bradley's with us. How are you, pal? The BR. Oh, look at that. He's with Sutek there. Look. Have you been to Peterborough?
Oh, yes,
the BR background is more the invisible enemy inside Doctor Who's mind, as Doctor Who Sound Effects LP once described it. I was playing that the other day. Isn't that weird? Just a geek. Playing around with the Planet of Evil jungle imagery would have been more fitting. That's a good point, actually, Paul. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
The jungle, maybe. What is he supposed to be holding in his right hand, or is it just positioning, says Noodle Arms?
It looks like a walnut whip, but it's actually the control device for the Scarson, isn't it? So yeah,
it is. Yeah.
I just thought the moving background from the Pyramid of Mars might have made a nice background as well. You know, that Goldie image that moved when they were actually inside the pyramid in episode 4.
Yeah. The fantastic time tunnel effect when he goes to the sarcophagus bit. Yeah.
The background says Enspiel. Is that from Stigron's ship? A lot of people have been guessing that particular one. But it's not, is it? But very close, but no cigar. Bedweir, do you know what it is?
I do, because this has come from Lee Binding himself. He says...
You're cheating then?
Well, slightly. I mean, so there's the scene in the Zygon spaceship where the Doctor is trying to short circuit the ship.
Oh, right.
Yes, the question is half power lethal or not? That sequence.
Yeah. And it's the background or the bit of ship behind Tom's head.
So to prove Bedweir's point.
Oh, I see. Right. That's obscure.
Very.
It is a bit.
Very obscure. Yeah. But
I love it nonetheless. Fantastic.
Yeah. There it is there, everybody, on the right-hand side of the picture. That is what has inspired that.
I love Tom's description of the controls in Zygons. I think it's on the Tom Baker years. It's like early pizzas.
Pizzas, yes.
He's right though, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. So yeah, none of you got that right there. R. John said walnut whips yet. None of you get a Who's Views pencil. Benign Crinoid is saying walnut whips. I don't have walnut anymore. What? Walnut whips don't have walnuts. Where's the Trades Description Act? Really? Is that right? Well, you can't sell them then. I'm sorry. When I'm Prime Minister, I'll sort them out, Benign. Don't you worry.
I didn't even know that walnut whips were still available.
Oh, you can still get them. Yes.
I bet they're that big now, though.
They're tiny. Because your hands are giant now.
Because they used to be this big, didn't they? They used to be huge. My mum used to love them. God love her. Every now and then there's a little treat. Peter Venkman is laughing. Sorry about that. And Richard Brooks says, I bought some walnut whips the other day online. Well, there you go. Now you can stick them to your hand.
Yeah.
So like this. When the DVD, when the Blu-ray comes out, I'll get there. Video Blu-ray. I'll get there. When that comes out, you can watch them. Benign says, they're just called whips now. I used to go to a club called Whips, but we won't talk about that.
That's a different show entirely. Yes.
Totally. That's a Who's Views late.
We're not at the watershed yet, JT.
No, we're not yet. No, not yet. And the Legion of James saying using that image to inspire the background kind of goes back up to George's point that he should have been in his other outfit on the cover.
Yeah.
And here's our John saying, I underestimated his intelligence, but you underestimated the power of organic crystallography. All these things, all this dialogue, very mature, proper dialogue. But as kids, 5-6-year-olds, you sort of understand it
Yeah.
because it's part of the story. It's because I've never ever questioned the power of organic crystallography until more recent days when they're starting to talk about things that are along those lines, and you just think, I know about this from Doctor Who, and do you know what's going to happen? Don't go down the plant food plate, please. Don't do it.
I mean, another really good thing is the attention to detail here. Like in Terror of the Zygons don't measure distance in miles. They don't measure time in minutes and hours. They have their own measurement systems for them. You know, somebody thought down and said, you know, they're not from Earth. They shouldn't be using these scales of measurement. And they give them their own things, like, you know, 15 remars or whatever it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Daleks with the rels.
Yeah.
Dalek and Rels. Yeah, the Rels.
Which happened to be about a second.
Yeah. But do you know what, Bedouin? That's how clever they were back then, because they put themselves into the world, didn't they? You know,
it's all about world building. You know, it's thinking beyond just, oh, I've created a monster. It's thinking about the society that monster comes from, and you know, its motivations for, you know, trying to, you know, with the Zygons is a really good example, because, you know, if you want to get technical about, you know, how they feed off the Scarison and all that sort of stuff.
The lactic fluid.
Milk, yes.
Yeah, you know.
Which was then used in one of the remakes of Star Wars, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the only thing that jars for me in this is actually in Zygons, the interior of the Zygon ship is very organic.
Yeah.
But the exterior of the ship is very manufactured. The two aren't really congruous with each other.
It's a good point. You're absolutely right, because surely if the inside has been grown, the outside would be as well.
I mean, it's a fantastic model. It's a great spaceship.
Beautiful.
But it just doesn't seem to mesh with the interior.
Yeah. And that's a shame, because in Claws of Axos, they got it right.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously they were just being a little bit sort of playful in the special effects department down there at the White City. Marie, thank you so much for your super chat. Whose Views After Dark? I'd pay for that. Well, I might make you eventually, you know. You never know what could happen on this channel, honestly. But thanks for that, lovely. Great to see you. And Spiel is saying Milky Milky. And Steve Bradley, I'm a Time Lord and I walk in eternity. Woodhouse 122, we're not really going to talk about this because it's nonsense, isn't it? Chibnall ruined Morbius for me with his Timeless Children rubbish. We've spoken about that before in our Brain of Morbius review. It's nonsense, and it's very clear. Go back and watch it. It's very clear. It's not the Doctor, it's Morbius. He's a Time Lord.
I've forgotten it all already.
So silly, isn't it? But yeah, there's so much to look forward to on this. Now, we did have a chat there, and I do want to mention this particular chap as well, from Jason Parker, who's saying to us, this season is a beautiful example of Dudley Simpson's gorgeous scores. It completes this era. Go on then, let's have a chat about this, because he's right, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he did 4 of the 6, and well, all 6 of them are belters. But yes, the 4 Dudley scores, fantastic.
Yeah. Is there any of Dudley's scores in this season that stand out for you?
For me, it's Pyramids of Mars.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I would agree with that, because to this day I'll hear the bits and pieces, and the whole thing with the mummies around the forest.
Yeah, I mean, where the mummies are in the gardens of the house, and Dudley Simpson just uses really stripped back percussion to underline the tension. It's just so well done, and a classic example of less is more.
Yeah.
And there's also some great things in Morbius as well, isn't there? Some great kind of creepy music in that, which is superb. Yeah.
But in Pyramids, it goes from that to the big bombastic organ score. As the Sutex being summoned up. Which some wag on YouTube has redubbed with "I do like to be beside the seaside," and I have to admit it made me laugh out loud.
I love that. That is very good. That would have been the Carry On version. That would. But again, this season, the music helped me for this, because Pyramids of Mars, as we've reviewed that before on the channel, we will be reviewing it again as part of our Reviews Revisited. But it's a case, that was the story. It was Doctor Who again that made me a little bit sort of suspicious and scared of the whole Egyptology subject, the mummies, the sarcophaguses, that whole culture that was millions of years before us, or thousands of years before us. It's just so wonderful, and the music, Dudley's score for it. Ooh,
yes.
Yeah, I quite like.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, George.
I was going to say there was a CD released years and years ago now where somebody recreated Dudley Simpson's scores from seasons 12 and 13, and there's a big Pyramid to Mars suite on that, and it's fantastic.
Oh, I know. I had nightmares tonight. I did. Yeah. Thanks, Edith. What were we going to say there, Badria?
Yeah, so I was going to give a shout out to Planet of Evil, because I don't think. Yeah, Planet of Evil's not my favorite story of the set, but the music goes a long way to selling the story and the atmosphere and the drama when it does happen for me.
Yeah.
I think the trouble is, because there's so many good stories in this season, it's hard to, I think if Planet of Evil was somewhere else, or Android Invasion was somewhere else, I think they'd be even more popular than they are. You know what I mean? It's interesting because there's so many good stories in it,
Yeah.
Mark McIntosh is saying to us here, it's such a shame Dudley Simpson's music tapes no longer exist. They would make fantastic soundtrack albums. They bloody will. And there's a market for it as well, because all of us are a certain age now. We would buy it all.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's not season 13, but come on, Silver Screen or somebody, surely getting an orchestra together and doing a new recording of The City of Death would be a guaranteed winner.
Yeah. Oh, there'd be sales for it as well, because now you would have it on your CD, your vinyl, your big vinyl sale. You'd have it on your download, wouldn't you? You'd have it on cassette again now. You would have an audience for it. And of course, there'll be certain fans, and not looking at me, who would probably buy it on all the formats you probably could. You would get it. Graham is also saying to us here that, yes, Jeffrey Burton's 2 soundtracks are absolutely incredible too.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. I mean, again, standout music for a standout season.
Both of which were released on the same CD. Is that still available? Again, it was one I bought a very long time ago. I don't know if it's still around.
I'm not sure.
I know what you mean, but I don't think it is. No.
I don't think it is, because a lot of it was deleted, wasn't it? Yeah. So I'm not sure.
That feels like that release was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, though, surely.
It was at least 20 years ago that I bought it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh, you'd have to look at all the online and stuff like that and check out Galaxy 4 and the Who Shop as well. Maybe.
Probably find it, but it must have been early 2000s-ish.
See, I always think it was the late 90s, but there you go. Everything in the late 90s.
Yeah, it's that sort of time, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Darren Bradley saying to us, it'll be interesting to see if any further improvement has been made to the additional found footage of the Zygon DVD.
I love those bits with Invisible TARDIS that were added. Remember the bits that were cut out?
Yeah, of course.
Very reminiscent to the Invasion, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Colorized it, didn't we?
Philip Hinchcliffe cut it because he thought it was too twee.
Too twee. Yeah.
And then a black and white print was found of the footage, which was then recolored. But if the colorization can be further improved, fantastic.
Really good. Well, lots coming our way then, of course, everybody, because we have been talking about season 13. It is on the way. It is available to pre-order now, everybody. As we've been saying, you can get it now from all the usual stockists for $54.99. That's the recommended retail price, $54.99, $54.99. But
bargain.
What a season it is, isn't it, Bedouin? It is a bargain. What a season you're gonna get. As we've been saying here, and as you all know, some of arguably the best Doctor Who stories ever in one action-packed, thrilling science fiction year. The proper Series 13, everybody. Oops, controversial. There you go. Listen,
it's not Flux. Just make sure you don't buy Flux.
Oh, is that what the Whittaker one was?
That's what scene 13, isn't it?
Let's see. And for those people that are new to this as well, as we've been saying through the show, you're going to get to see the proper Sutek. There he is, everybody. Look, and he's waiting for you there. Look, he's got the kettle on.
I look out for Sutek's hand of assistance.
Famous scene. It
was cut out of the Tales of the TARDIS version because they've no sense of humor whatsoever.
I hope that it's still in the original version. I'll be very unhappy if they've taken that out because it's part of the charm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go
Like the fast return switch in The Edge of Destruction, there might be the option to watch it with that digitally removed.
Yeah. Oh, listen, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining us for this special show. We've had Richard Brooks saying, "What the flux?" I don't know what they're talking about either, Richard. Ian Scales talking about, "It surely doesn't need improvement. It added an ominous element to the story somehow."
Yeah.
And Spiel saying, "Is George talking about the re-recording of Blair Mowat? I might have made that name up, though."
The Dudley Simpson scores. It was Heathcliff Blair.
Heathcliff Blair. There we go.
Yeah.
I knew it was something like Wuthering Heights.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I remember it, Bedouin.
Not Kate Bush, though. No.
No. A lot of you are saying about a certain website. I think it crashed earlier on, but keep trying. But there are lots of websites out there, lots of people. We've mentioned them all. We've got the Amazon there, we've got the Zavvi, you've got your HMV, and of course, you've got Galaxy 4, and you've got the Who Shop, who are all still out there as well. So go and have a look at them. Rose is joining us, guys. Rose Kirby, hello, lovely. Hello, folks. Good evening to the Whotastic panel. So it's Doctor Who Classic Season 13 box set, but how long will we have to wait to get it? Now, that's the question, Rose. You can pre-order it from today. We do expect it. Personally, we're having bets on amongst ourselves here that will be around about September. Round about September. It will certainly be for the Christmas market for this particular one. So as soon as we've got the date, of course, we'll mention it in one of our other shows, but they don't give us dates anymore now because of what happened with the initial few releases, because it all went tits up, didn't it, for them? Bless them.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, as soon as they announced the date, they'll end up pushing it back. So
yeah. So yes, so you can pre-order it as of today. There we go. Duncan saying to us here, Sutek had a thing from the Addams Family as his assistant.
Yeah, he used to sit in a box, didn't they? Come up like that. Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah.
Do you know, I never noticed that for years and years.
I never noticed it as a kid. It was actually at a convention when they were playing Pyramids of Mars that this guy I'd met at the convention, who turned into a good mate of mine to this day, said to me, "Now, have you seen the hand?" And I'm like, "What?" What? And he said, "No, wait for it. Now watch the chair. And then I was like, "What?" I had never seen.
I didn't spot it until my umpteenth viewing of the VHS tape. When I watched it, I just thought, "What, did I just see that?"
I love when that sort of thing happens. It's wonderful. I still love it, though. Still love it. Yeah,
it's brilliant, isn't it?
It wasn't until the DVD release of Pyramids of Mars with Liz Sladen on the commentary where she said, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Sarah Jane Smith is an absolute crack shot with a rifle.
Yeah,
and I think, yeah, that's right. How come she's suddenly a crack shot with a rifle?
But you know what? When we were watching it as kids back in the day, it was because it was Sarah, and Sarah could do anything.
Yeah.
Character development.
That's what it is.
But not only was she a crack shot with a rifle, she was a crack shot with a rifle that to her would have been an antique firearm.
Yes.
It's brilliant, though, isn't it? She was so clever. Listen, our John is saying the missing minutes from the beginning of the Zygon are really interesting. The Doctor comes out in his regular clothes and goes back into the TARDIS and reappears with the tartan scarf and the new hat. Yeah. It's a little bit fun, but it suits Tom's Doctor, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Very reminiscent of Robot, really, in a sense. What else we got there? Andrew Parker saying to a Seeds of Doom soundtrack got an official BBC release on CD. It did, along with Terror of the Zygons. With that one, I have seen that about last time I saw it was last year at a convention, so that's still around with some people if you're interested in it. And what's this from Woodhouse 122? Doctor Who magazine have a horror special edition at the end of September, so the box set might come out around then. They have a horror special edition. Oh,
what is that about? Shooty Gatwa?
RTD2.
I won't be buying that if that's the case. Yeah.
Well, it's because we did a horror show 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Panini. And thank you, Legion of James, for this great show tonight. A proper joy. As fans of proper Doctor Who, when we love it, and we share the love in abundance. Absolutely. Yeah. And this is well, it's proper Doctor Who, everybody, isn't it? You know, and hello. Scotsman in New York's joining us. Nice to see you. How are you? Hello, lads. Great memories. I first met Tom at John Menzies in Glasgow. Same as you, Paul. Were you John Menzies?
Mine's in Edinburgh. But,
John Menzies.
You'll have had your tea. Yeah. So.
Yeah. The day Zygons
Yeah.
for went out.
Yeah.
What a great season. JT, you said to get in touch. I will soon, promise. Yes, please do. Scotsman in New York. It's good to see you. How are things over there? Yes. New York. You're going to move, are you? Got some lunatic show business people running around New York now, haven't you? Cynthia Nixon. Yes, but anyway, whosviews1@gmail.com is where you can get in touch with me there. Whosviews1@gmail.com. And if you, anybody else, of course, you can get in touch with us there about anything you want at all. But it's good to see you, and thank you for joining. Mark McIntosh saying to us, the hand at the Sutek exhibition at Peterborough is an actual cast of the real floor assistant's hand.
Oh, shut up. No way.
Yeah. It was Peter Grimwade, wasn't it?
I think it may be.
The
Yeah.
hand.
No idea. I have no idea. And Marie UK saying about Sarah. Sarah was a tough woman without any of this boss babe rubbish. She also knew how to crack a smile. Yes, she did. She did. And again, it's that relationship, isn't it, everybody? It's that relationship. Well, listen, yes, so that's it. Season 13 is on the way. Let's have a look at the Who's Views Blu-ray box set collector's edition shelf, shall we? Whew. There it is. There we go. So that's where you've got at the moment, everybody. That's it there. Not many to go, actually, if you look at it, everyone. Look at this. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So with the announcement of Series 13, let's pop it on the shelf, shall we?
Oh, it's like an advent calendar.
Yeah.
There it is, everybody. You've got one Pertwee, one Peter Davison, one Pertwee, and one Tom Baker left. God knows what's going to happen with the 60s.
That's why it looks odd. Because if you look at the backgrounds, and most of them, they're not quite so busy as that one, is it? Really, to be honest,
No, it's just Spearhead, really, and 9, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they've really overdone the background since.
I think they have. Yeah.
But you can't
So
see them all
21's got to be next.
I reckon 21, and then I think the key to time, because there's problems with 1, as we know.
And then finish on 11.
I mean, I think there are.
With
I
CGI
don't see how realistically the black and white years can be released as season box sets. I think you could get away with doing the first Doctor collection and the second Doctor collection with all the surviving stories and episodes. But to try and put season box sets out with so many gaps, I think is a recipe for disaster.
And certainly when if you're shoving some of these ridiculous animations they've done on, are people going to buy them again for £55?
My understanding is the intention is that the animations are to go on the collection sets.
I've heard that too.
But even with animations, none of the seasons are complete yet.
No.
So they either need to hurry up and do more animations, or they're
there was a whisper, wasn't there, recently at convention about Myth Makers possibly coming out at some point?
Well, that has been
was an animation.
Same list.
Animation,
That was on the same list as the Savages and the Celestial Toy Maker.
Yeah, one of the actors who's in Myth Makers at the convention fair recently, she mentioned that may be coming out, and the host kept trying to shut her down, apparently.
I wonder why. But they might surprise us, guys, as well. They might actually just not do anything until they've got the AI where they need it to be.
Yeah.
I really think doing a first Doctor collection and a second Doctor collection, even Volume 1, Volume 2, it would be a better way of doing it than try and do it as individual seasons.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I just don't think there's a call for, and tell me actually, guys, in the chat if you think I'm wrong, or get in touch, whosviews1@gmail.com. I don't think that fans that have bought the DVD versions of the animations would spend £55 on buying them again on Blu-ray.
It is inevitable because you can see the banking material on the, like some of the Savages. You've got a documentary about Innes Lloyd. You've got making of documentaries. They're making them all have all the features on them just to transfer them, aren't they? Let's be honest. I mean, that's what they're going to do. Yeah.
I agree with Rick Storm here as well. I think 21 will be next as well, 11, and then I do think the Key to Time season will be the last one because I do actually. I think they'll do Peter, John, and then Tom because we just had a Tom.
I'm still half expect them to do season 6. Because that's almost complete in the same way season 2 is. I mean, they could do that, I think. Yeah.
Space Pirates is,
There's 7 episodes missing from season 6, isn't there?
Yeah.
2 from the Invasion and 5 from Space Pirates.
Yes.
That's quite a gap.
But they've got
Yeah.
2 animations of Invasion, so they've only got 5 episodes they need to cover, really. So they could get away with
Yeah,
that the same way they did Crusade, to be honest.
I mean, you know, it's this, if you were doing season 3, say, and this collection box set was the first opportunity to buy an animated Daleks Master Plan, then that would sell really well.
That's
however,
true. Yeah.
However, the way BBC Studios is going to work is that they'll want to get that out as an individual release, then repackage it as a collection box set to try and
But
maximize money.
again, it's the fan thing, isn't it, Bedouin? Because there will be fans who want it as part of the DVD box, the DVD collection as well. So it's complete Doctor Who on DVD, and then we buy it again on Blu-ray, don't we? You've got to have it on your DVD and your Blu-ray version before you bring it out as a box set. I think there's going to be a little gap between color and black and white, personally, unless they surprise us and bring out Series 1 without Story 1 on it, which
they can't.
I was just going to say,
So,
I was just going to say the Anthony Coburn estate and the rights issues have blocked the release of Unearthly Child, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But then, if you look at the season 2 box set we did have, the missing episodes from the Crusade were not animated. And whether they put something similar together for Space Pirates, in the same way they did a Marco Polo reconstruction on, I can't remember which was it, the Aztec, something like that. But maybe they'll try that.
The thing with those 2 episodes of Crusade, though, Bedweir, is the telesnaps exist for them, whereas there's very few stills, let alone telesnaps, for the Space Pirates.
Yes, that's true.
That's true. Well, as we say,
that's why, Space Pirates is a real problem for getting season 6 out, which is probably the more likely of those.
The Space Pirates was also on the list I had a couple of years ago, which included the Celestial Toymaker, the Savages, the Mythmakers. So, they might be, and also, Savages was the recent one, wasn't it? Yes. So,
Smugglers was another one. All the names have been thrown around. Like the Smugglers was another one. They've all been mentioned.
Well, apparently there is another animation on the way before Christmas, so stay with us here on Who's Views, because Ken will be back to talk about it. But as you can see from the Who's Views Blu-ray box set shelf there you go. That's what we've got there. Who knows? They will know. These things have sold. Every single one of these have sold really, really well. As we said today, season 13 has already, if you can get onto their website, it went straight to number 1 in the various Blu-ray sci-fi action adventure television charts. It went to number 1 within minutes. So congratulations. It's selling everywhere. This is a big seller for them. Every one of them has been a big seller. I hope that BBC Studios have already started to sit down and say, how do we deal with the black and white era? Let's hope they come up with something really good. But for the moment, we've got series 13 on the way, everybody, a magical era. And I'm going to show it to you again. There it is there. If you've got your pre-orders in, fantastic. Hope you're getting excited. Hurry up with the standard editions, BBC Studios. For me and James, if nothing else, kid? We want our standard editions. George, Bedouin, Paul, thank you so much for joining me for this impromptu show. If you tuned in looking for our brand new series of Whose Views Recommends Department Q, well, we've put that aside. That'll be with you next week. So now you've got a little bit of time to get onto Netflix and have a look at that and come and join us for our Recommend show, brand new show coming up for you next week. Guys, thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Absolute pleasure.
I loved it. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Classic British television coming to a Blu-ray near you very soon. From
At
George,
last.
from Bedouin, from Paul, from me. Don't forget to please like the show. Please give us a subscription if you're new to us. If you aren't new to us and you've been with us, thank you so much for your support. We really do appreciate it. Please make sure you're still subscribed. Our next scheduled show is Sunday. So we will see you then. From all of us here, have a good night. Have a good day. We'll see you again soon. Ciao, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.